Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the VALORANT Challenges Oceania, Week 4, Day number 1. My name is Kitfox. I am but one of your casters for this evening, but I'm not alone. I am joined by the man himself, TwoTapTony. How are you, dude?
I am well, Kit. We had a bit of a hiatus, but we're back. We're better than ever, hopefully.
Absolutely, my man. It's amazing what a week off will do, and you know what, especially true for the OCE scene in VALORANT. For those of you that are new here, welcome. Let's run through just how this tournament works out. Yes, we are in stage 1 right now, as you can see. We're currently playing through the top 8s. The top 6 of that group will go through to the Ascension stage. Unfortunately, the bottom 2 will be relegated. That's a place that you do not want to be. And stage 2, it's going to be pretty much the same thing, my man. Top 8's going to be going into the top 6 playoffs. Bottom 2 relegated. See you later.
Yeah, not only are the bottom 2 relegated, but of course the winner of Split 2 or Stage 2 playoffs, of course, goes over to the VALORANT Ascension, and they will be playing for some international glory. They'll be representing OS on the big stage, but as well, Kit, I believe they're playing for a lot more than just that slot.
Yes, it is the pride, the glory, the representation, but also the cold, hard cash. First place in this tournament, going to be walking away with nice $14,000. Second place, walking away with 10 racks. Third, 7,000. Fourth, 5,000. Fifth and sixth, both will be walking away with 4K apiece. Seventh and eighth, 3,000 for a grand total of a 50K prize pool. Tony, that is definitely nothing to turn your nose up at.
Yeah, definitely not. And of course, 50 grand between both splits. Who knows? You might be walking home a millionaire at the end of the day after winning both Stage 1 and Stage 2. But of course, playing for the glory, playing for the cash, playing for the fun of VALORANT as well, I feel, Kit.
Absolutely. Playing for the big plays as well. We have definitely had no shortage of those. We're going to be seeing some tonight, but especially in the past weeks. Let's have a look at Week 3.
Confident, but he's baiting time now. That's where the issue really lies. We'll be able to get a plant, but now they know exactly where he is. Gets off the line, they do line up, he's like a second, he holds it! Incredible stuff from Biggie Cheese!
30 seconds left.
Again, another really, really slow round. How many does Flick get here? 1, 2? Why do I even ask anymore?
Get some damage on Biggie Cheese, but August has not through the swarm. It's going to do the damage. Mike takes the fight against Biggie Cheese. He's going to win it out. Another swarm comes out and denied completely.
He has to go in now. The save ball in there as well. Better go for the defuse. He's trying to stick it. He's going the whole way. He goes gravity well. Concussion. Oh, what with the pistol? John whipping his way through, and what?
And 2v2 now for the retake, and they've got the lockdown available to sit away. It is going to be McKinley on the other side of the wall. Oh, nice! As it is smoked off, they still have to deal with McKinley, though.
Yeah, Mike is going to get domed in the back of the head if he's not careful here. He gets one. Oh, what the hell? Do the attackers, will they go for the defuse? Do they have the util to cover? I don't think they do. Honda's got the range with the operator. They have to stick the spike yet again. He has to reload. Honda through the wall.
Yeah, just going real damn aggressive, but Scroll happy just to stand and take them all down. Cyber Cage gives Jelly D a little bit of position. He finishes off the first. Scroll, he's living and can now play with time as well. Tap comes through, but Jelly D 100%. Maple needs to stop this from happening. Ooh, alrighty, in the position to save the damn round, and he's not going to be cleared at all. So just waiting for the timing. Spots the first, jumps over towards the backer side, and Styles on Cobalt.
Oh, Tony, I tell you what, if you weren't ready for one hell of a night of VALORANT after watching that, I don't know what's going to get you up and about. I am so keen. Those plays were incredible.
Absolutely. We saw some crazy close games through that 95X XBFG now, of course, game went down to the wire. Well, of course, we had the pleasure of covering that one, and what a game it was.
Oh, man, what a pleasure every game has been to cast. You know what? There hasn't really been a game that has not been enjoyable. All the teams have been delivering week in, week out, but it all comes down to the individual efforts as well. So, and as you can see, here, let's have a look at the teams rather before we get to that. Let's talk about the team efforts, my man. TwoTapTony. As you can see, Bobo here dominating 4-0.
Bobo up top, 4-0, Fun Crew and Honey Badgers at that 3-1 mark. Then you've got 95X rounding out the pack as well, that top 4. Next Gen the Who +2, Mammoth, and Cooper Troopers all down at that 1-3 and 0-4 mark, unfortunately for the Cooper Troopers. Hopefully looking to put a win on the board, Kit, and of course a few of these other teams as well looking to put a win on the board. I see Next Gen, of course, now, of course, the former XBFG roster, now under a new name, have recently departed the org, looking to come in hot tonight, hopefully.
Yeah, they've done the M&M and just dropped their label, basically. It's been a wild week in OCE Valorant. We were not lying, but the top 5 players, that is one thing we need to talk about, Tony, because we have got a guy that's been dominating week in, week out here. I'm talking about Swirl.
Yeah, king of the server, king of the ACS, 308 for young Swirl. Very much a talented player, an international superstar almost. Just hasn't got that crack at, and well, maybe this is the stage to prove it. This is his tournament to run. You can see Lou, Maple, RD, Norson all there as well. I have to say, of course, Lou, Maple, very, very much standout players for both of their rosters respectively, and RDW always a solid sentinel to look at. Norson always a clean cut initiator as well.
Yeah, look, Lou, no stranger to standings like this. Once touted one of the best players, not only in OCE, but the world. I'm talking way back in the Direwolves days. That's going way back a little bit, but you know, consistency is key. Man is still here. Let's have a look at how today's schedule is going to unfold and the games we're going to be bringing before your very eyes. It will be 95X going up against Bobo. So a nice top of the table clash there, Tony, to start things off. Bobo currently undefeated, but 95X hot on their heels, and we're going to be following that up with Cooper Troopers going up against the team formerly known as Built for Greatness, Next Gen.
Yeah, these are going to be some interesting games, Kid. I feel this is 95X's point to prove that they are the best in the region. Can they dethrone the reigning kings right now, Bobo? And of course, Cooper Troopers looking to get that first win on the board, upset Next Gen as well, put them another loss and put them down the standings a little bit, and then potentially shake up the bottom as well.
Yeah, that's it. We don't really know, even though we're currently, you know, on the downward slope, we would say, in the tournament, Tony, we really don't know who's going to cement that top or even that bottom position, but will it be 95X? Will they be the guys to dethrone the champions Bobo here? I mean, that's the real question. These guys are incredible gamers.
Yeah, absolutely stacked roster, I have to say. Looking at this one on paper, 95X, it just screams talent. You've got Mike, who's been an up-and-comer for the longest time. He's been working through a few things. He's been swapping up a few of his roles. I'm very much liking him on the duelist right now as well, led at the helm by their IGL minimized Swirl. You can see, of course, king of the ACS, king of the top 5 at the moment. Punda, what a very good supporting cast as well, I have to say. Very much smart individual players, and as well, just this team overall is built for something great.
You have got the best gamer confirmed in the tournament at the moment, combined with the biggest brain in Minimize, and that is a force to be reckoned with, Tony. You can be one hell of a gamer, you can be one hell of a team, but without, you know, proper strategy behind you, it's, you know, you're basically, I don't want to say a one-trick pony, but you're going to be left up the creek without a paddle when you go up against teams like Bobo, who are currently undefeated.
Yeah, of course, we take a look at this Bobo roster, and there's a few swap-ups here. Of course, we spoke about some wild things that happened during that week break, and of course, it is that we will no longer be seeing Plix on the roster, I believe, for the remainder of the season. Yafang also is subbing in this evening, and it's going to be an interesting one. RD and Plix, as you saw, kind of leading the charge for the Bobo roster in terms of numbers, but you've still got very credible names. Crunchy, Dragon, Noz, they've all got that kind of core synergy. They've still got what it takes to be a team.
Even though you have got 2 subs coming in, essentially, I don't think that's really going to shake Bobo too much, because these guys they're undefeated for a reason. They are some of the biggest names in OCE Valorant, and I think even with the shortest amount of prac time, they'll be able to deliver. And you know what? It's going to be a tough ask for 95X to take this out. But we put the 2 best players of these teams head to head, and when these Titans lock horns, you get something like this, Tony. Swirl going up against Dragon. Swirl, king of the ACS, crown him. It's official, 308.9 insane, but Dragon, his duelist counterpart, is no slouch either.
Oh, absolutely. I have to say, Swirl, of course, as we see, king of the ACS, one of the best in the region. Dragon, he's getting there. He's kind of the what Swirl was a few years ago. He's getting there. He's starting to build up his name. He's starting to get a lot of great plays behind him. He's starting to get a really, really solid core fundamentals of how you want to play those duelist roles. You can slip in and out with the Jet, and of course you can see them all getting ready on the cameras. We've got a lovely treat for you. We've got some player cams this week.
I'll tell you what, it's Yifeng must be in Melbourne here at the moment because it is damn hot. It is very, very sticky, and I can tell you right now, it's only going to get hotter from here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get hot in the server, and I'm keen to see it. Of course, we haven't seen Yifeng in quite a while, and of course, we're looking at these players, and you know, Yifeng's facing down some of his former teammates.
Yeah, it's going to be one hell of a story, that's for sure. Unfortunately, we didn't have data for Yifeng. I would love to see on paper what this guy can deliver. But we had a chat with Minimize earlier in the week, and we got his thoughts and picked his brain on the tournament and how he's going so far.
I feel like when we came into the season, we were a bit slow. We had a bit of a slow start. I feel like we're just going to get better and better as we go along. I mean, we've only lost one game so far, so we can't really complain, but preferably we would be undefeated. But we had a loss to Fun Crew. They came out really strong, and I think we came out pretty weak.
Andy gets on the spike. Swirl last alive, and Fun Crew take the series.
Like, they play the game well, even though they don't practice. They've been a team for a very long time. I think as a team we've improved in like every detriment, so I feel like the vibes are good right now. I'm just always trying to figure out how to practice the most efficiently, especially in this region. It's very hard to get consistent high level practice, so we've been scrimming a lot of Asian teams, but even like scrimming Asian teams on really high ping could be a detriment. The practice scene right now, it's already really hard to find scrims and practice, so when like a team that's actually scrimming tends to disband, it gets even harder. So really just trying to figure out that balance on how to practice.
They can't see it. Looking for info, drops one, can it be a second? He knows he's close. Baz looking to do the damage, Mike though.
I honestly feel like it's pretty funny. I feel like every team kind of had the idea of let's practice Pearl and catch people off guard. And I think they kind of all put themselves in a loop. And they all picked Pearl. Pearl and Fracture, definitely not what I expected. Obviously you expect like Ascent, Icebox, Haven, those kind of maps. I feel like it's a bit weird at the moment, OC, with all these teams playing Pearl. But I think Pearl is a fun map. I mean, we're aiming for top 2. I think if we win the rest of our games, we're like pretty much guaranteed top 2. Because Fun Crew lost to Honey Badgers. So that's what we're aiming for. And I think the advantage of sitting in the top 2 position is really good. And I think we're more than capable of pulling it off.
Yeah, we're very lucky to get inside one of the biggest brains in OCE Valorant there, Tony, and he spoke a little bit about map choice and map selection there and about everybody picked Pearl trying to catch people off guard. Speaking of catching people off guard, well, it will be interesting to note that Split and Lotus are currently in the map pool and they are available for selection, and we say goodbye to Breeze and Bind. So, Tony, just to, in case you didn't have enough spice on OCE Valorant already, we're shaking it up more.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, Bind and Breeze, I feel Bind kind of one of the maps that not too many of these teams played quite recently. As you said, as Minimize said, of course, Pearl and Fracture really being the stock standard at the moment. Ascent, of course, in there as well as one of those maps that a lot of these teams have opted to pick up. But we normally see Ascent deciders though, and unfortunately we haven't seen all too much Ascent recently.
No, we often see a bit more Haven, but will we see Haven? Will we see Ascent? Will we see Lotus? Let's take a look now and see what these teams opted for. It's going to be no. Actually, we're not going to be seeing Haven or Lotus. Damn. So get that out of your head. But we are going to be seeing Pearl, something Minimize spoke about, and 95X have indeed picked that. And then map number 2 will be Icebox, selected by Bobo. Fracture removed from the equation as well. And then Split taken away by Bobo. Ascent will actually be our decider should we need to get there.
Yeah, this is a very interesting veto, I feel. 95X obviously identifying that Bobo love to play Haven. We've seen Haven, even the game where they had Nellery sub in, of course, last week for the matches. We saw Haven quite a solid pick for Bobo as a 5, and of course as a 3 probably still very much the core fundamentals are there. Lotus being taken out of the pool, Bobo don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I feel it's a map that's kind of hard to prep for, especially at the moment a lot of these teams opting, as we've seen for the Pearl and Fracture. Ascent, of course, being the decider, expected. Icebox, though, being in the pool is a very interesting, a little bit of a pocket pick, I feel, for a team like Bobo.
Yeah, you know, we we said that Minimize, we heard from Minimize that Ascent is a map that, you know, people don't necessarily want to tussle with. I think a couple other people in the scene kind of echo that. So right here in the vetoes, we can already see the mind game starting. But interesting to note that, you know, I think teams in this competition won't be too shy about pulling up the Lotus, even though we are in the, you know, the second half of the competition, Tony, playoffs seemingly just around the corner. You know, now that it's available, this throws an entirely new curveball at OCE Valorant. And I think there are teams out there in this tournament and this scene as a whole that are more than willing to pick it up in its infancy.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of flexibility. Of course, you saw from the next gen roster, very willing to pick up Pearl immediately and make that kind of their home. 95X were like, oh, okay, everybody's playing Pearl. Maybe they start to pick up Lotus. Maybe that's a little bit of a knowledge from Bobo as well that, you know, 95X been getting in those scrims, as of course Minimize said, they've been getting in some international scrims, and maybe they've been playing a lot of Lotus recently. Yeah,
it's like a game of poker almost, isn't it? You know, you raise with the Fracture, and then in comes another team, and they re-raise you with something like the Lotus. You know, are you ready for it? Are you going to be caught off guard? You know, is that, you know, aggression, that, you know, big chest pump that you were doing as a team, has that all of a sudden been deflated because you thought, hang on, nobody was crazy enough to pick a map like Lotus? But you know what, we are getting ahead of ourselves. But Pearl is going to be map number 1, a map that is, I believe, tied the most pick alongside Fracture here.
Yeah, these teams love to play Pearl, of course. Pearl, Fracture, both very heavy strat maps, and it's going to be interesting for a team like Bobo, of course, now having Nellery and Yifeng sub in, how the team cohesion really works from there, because of course I believe Blick's making a lot of calls, and as well RD making a lot of heavy strat calls. So it's going to be up to, I feel, Noz, Crunchy, and Dragon to really lead Nellery and Yifeng where they want to go.
Yeah, it's good to see a couple of our boys spreading their wings as well, Tony. You know, it's been a while since eyes have been on the scene in such an, you know, an official capacity, and it's good to see a couple of these players, you know, getting picked out here and there. Best of luck to them all. It definitely makes things interesting here in our scene, where this, you know, the ceiling or the skill cap is so close at the top level. And, you know, even with the amount of money that's being poured into a tournament like this, 50K, that's incredible. I mean, there was, you know, I don't want to be back in my day, but you know what, there were times when it was played for a bunch of headsets and mice. You know, it's great to see.
Yeah, it's great to see. A lot has changed, of course, since then. These players are playing for some cold, hard cash, playing video games, of course, making a career for it too. That's what you love to see, Kit. We love to see our players get some sort of backing behind them, get some financial stability, and then, of course, go overseas and do big things.
Absolutely, and there are teams in this tournament right now that are looking for org support. So if you want to be part of the growth in this scene, then cast your eyes here. Cast your eyes right to this channel and take notes. There are big plays here, big personalities as well, Tony, which is something that, you know, the scene has sort of been lacking. You know, it's one thing to be an ace shot in game. It's another thing to be a personality and be completely marketable. And I think we are seeing a lot more of that in the scene. You know, we're seeing a lot more of those personalities taking it on themselves. But as we finally get into this, the players are ready. Let's check out the agent selection.
Yeah, and this is also a little bit of an interesting note. You can see Yifeng's last pick agent was Killjoy. I believe they will be putting him on, at least as far as my knowledge would be, they put him... Okay, never mind. I thought they were going to put him on the initiator role. Completely out of the question. Nellery to the Fade. He's played, I believe, 1 game in their series last week. 2 weeks ago. Nellery was on the Fade. But of course, Crunchy now in on the Astra. I like a pick like Astra on Pearl. Okay. Very much you can split focus the map. I like this comp out of Bobo. It's very stock standard.
We've got Dragon on the Chamber as well, which is an agent that we haven't seen for quite some time. But, you know, if you've been watching, you know, a lot of the professional Valorant over the last couple of weeks, you know, lock-ins, you know, there was a Harbor picked in lock-ins, you know, it's insane, you know, the variety that we're getting here. And it's good to see our boy Chamber back in, the best looking Frenchman in the server.
Yeah, he's got a nice suit and tie. He's also got a nice big gun to boot. That tour de force. We've seen some big plays, especially last season, especially last year. We saw a lot of Chamber, and it's good to see it still kind of has its niche in the meta a little bit. It's fallen out of favor. Those trips are a little bit weaker. Of course, Chamber overall is a little bit more weaker in terms of the meta at the moment, but on a map like Pearl, you can go for some very aggressive peaks, and I imagine Dragon really wants to shake things up early with this pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see a few shenanigans here to start things off because the stock standard, let's be honest, it really hasn't worked against Bobo. Many have tried, many have failed. If you're going to succeed against the best, you're going to have to be a little bit obscure, a little bit different, and just shake things up a little bit. But we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? It's 95X going up against Bobo. Kitfox and TwoTapTony bringing you the action here. Week 4, day 1 of the VALORANT Challenges Oceania. Standard buy up so far, a couple ghosts. That's about it.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Bobo opting for the full 4, looking to get some aggressive fights going on. Yifeng looking for an early peek, trying to grab that ultimate orb. Crunchy giving away life after taking minimize. They are going to get the ultimate orb. Yifeng is going to get the safety. He's going to jump around that corner, pops the swarms immediately, doesn't want to let them into this site. Mike has taken Dragon out over towards the middle position. You can see Yifeng still fighting for dear life. That spike will go down and 95X have the man advantage.
Planted.
Nicely done. Swirl going to get the plant down, Ski, but you can see Yifeng just out the back there towards Pit. They tried to run him down, but Killjoy does hold her ground. Nellery going to engage with Swirl over towards the sewer connector. They tried to run him down, but back on the site, you can see Yifeng's still alive, but what finally sends him packing? Meanwhile, Noz has decided to roll up. Probably could have got there a little bit earlier. Oh, does the damage though. Takes down what? There are still a couple players to contend with. Swirl and Mike over towards the art side. Noz, he's going to stick this to at least halfway. He goes off it, taps it again. Gets one, but the swing from Swirl is good. Power in numbers for 95X, and they take the pistol.
And that was a smart little small millisecond delay there from Swirl to peek that as, you know, he backed off a little bit. He slid to the right, and then he slid back out and was able to secure that. You don't want to line up there. You don't want to give Bobo anything of a free round here. 95X picking up the first. No force here out of Bobo. A few sheriffs, maybe, but of course, they want to keep the economy as stable as possible. Against a team like 95X, who love to bully the economy game, you definitely want to stay at an even level around the board.
Yeah, will we see the buy-ups? We will. We're actually going to see a, I don't want to say a hero Vandal because we've got a couple of Bulldogs in support. In fact, there are 2, so scratch that and straight to work goes the hardware from what? Downrange, manages to take 1. That's the power, but the shorty at the pillar from Nellery gets 1. So I suppose he can say that his job has been done. Minimize sends him packing, but the rotation is coming. Swirl removes Noz from the site, and that just blows things open for 95X at B.
Yeah, it's a bit of a situation, a cheeky little one from Nellery. He's like, hey, I did my job. The rest is up to you guys. And now up to Crunchy and Yifeng, not really much they can do, especially he's facing down 2 forced Vandals and 2 forced Bulldogs. Very, very aggressive purchase coming out of 95X for that second round. Securing it perfectly, and off of Bobo, they will be able to buy now. A few light shields, a few Vandals. Actually, just Vandals across the mark. No Phantoms, no crazy shenanigans. I'm interested to see maybe a Marshal, but Bobo, they're keeping it stock standard for the moment. 95X, they're up 2 though.
They are, but this is the buy round here for Bobo. They need to be cautious here to 95X. They can't get too far ahead of themselves. Still a lot of VALORANT to be played, and this is where Bobo start to bare their teeth a little bit when they get that firepower behind them, but they are doing it with a few light shields, so it is a bit of a scrap together, and nice work to start things off here from 95X. Minimize opening up the account and making the deposit. Dragon on chamber already looking at the looking at the spawn timer.
Yeah, that's rough. Dragon kind of forced to really play this like an aggressive duelist. He can't really afford to play it like a Sentinel, unfortunately, at the moment. The way that 95X are kind of dictating about the map, looking to go straight back towards the A. And of course, early swarms coming out of Yifeng. Nothing really he can do. Crunchy, though, able to find one on the back line, but Bobo, they've got power and numbers still, Kit. They've got 3 together, probably coming towards his art position. Nellery and Crunchy, though, are going to be going through main. They have to be careful of what is tucked in this great corner. He's got Punta to back him up too. Playing together is what 95X are after right now.
He does get revealed by the Prowler, though, so he needs to be cautious, but dark cover, and then just teleports away. Nicely done. Just Omen doing Omen things. And I think that the Bobo lads are just going to tuck their tails between their legs here, my man, and just run away. Smart thing to do here. That spike is working firmly against them. They do have some hardware. So, Tony, we're into round 3, soon to be round number 4. Bobo yet to put a round on the board. This is not what we're used to seeing. So, maybe, just maybe, those roster shake-ups and players getting picked up, etc., have really taken their toll.
Yeah, and it's very interesting, of course, especially last time we saw 95X was against that old BFG roster, now next gen, and it's, you know, it was a bit of a blowout. 95X looked out of sorts on Pearl, but it appears, you know, that week break has done them good. They've gone through, they've ironed out the kinks here in their attack on this, of course, map, and Bobo, well, forced to 3 Vandals into this one, Sheriff as well. Nobody near the ultimates just yet, of course, but starting to get there. Mike, one away from the neural theft. Early free kill might be a good info spot, but what is going to pick apart your Fang getting aggressive?
At this point, Watt probably wants to get taken down so he can buy up into some decent hardware. He's still rolling with that Bulldog, and it is still doing work. And I'll tell you what, 95X are hitting these sites with serious conviction. Have a look at that. Spike already down over towards A. Yifang completely cleared out. Doesn't matter who you are, Killjoy or not. It's going to be rough when you get run down like that. And now 95X with a firm grip on their site, and Bobo still don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, it's hard to retake too, especially without any ultimates to work with, and 95X holding all these off angles there. Good prowler. He's going to spot out, minimize, but Bobo, they might just have to think about saving. 95X have this one on lock. Swirl is playing this crossfire perfectly with a minimize. You can see as well. Noz trying to walk it up and shot. Will find one on a Watt, but immediately traded back. 95X just cherry picking these kills, stealing these guns away from Bobo, and making it a very, very costly round. Only Crunchy left alive as 95X go up to 4.
Well, Watt gets his wish. He can finally invest into some decent hardware. And Minimize, big grin on the man's face. He's happy so far, and why wouldn't you be? 95X currently dominating the undefeated Bobo, but Crunchy, spirits are high too. You love to see it.
Yeah, you see a slight smile there from Noz. The boys are still in high spirits. Of course, only 4 rounds. We're still very early days, but I have to say, it's a very interesting thing out of 95X. They're bullying Yifang on that site. Over at A, his swarms are completely put to use after 95X. They bait it perfectly, but Dragon, that's the start. That's what Bobo want.
Yeah, it's the, I think they believe their first blood for the half, so well done. Picking up in round 5. Better late than never. A wizard is never late. And they're looking to sprinkle a little bit of magic here on Pearl. Ooh. Well done. They get a second. Noz removing Watt, who's been so dangerous on this Omen, just out-fragging, outplaying everybody he goes up against. Bit of noise being made over towards the mid connector now, but Dragon is holding that deep.
Spike down, B.
Nellery to take out Punda. That's the spike dropped, and another one from Dragon. Oh, no, the knives have been popped. Great shot from Swirl. Looking to find a few more, but Bobo very scattered about how they're playing this map right now. You can see Crunchy over towards that link hold over towards Art. You can see Noz holding the spawn. 2 players over at that B side. Swirl, he's going to walk up to Yifang and almost catches him off. Oh, and he does! Swirl also takes apart Nellery. This is doable now. 2 players left, and Crunchy has to hightail it. Noz is going to hold on the high angle. They've got no swarms. They've got no alarm. Swirl can pick up the spike, and he can do it.
Wow, this is definitely doable. You're not wrong. If anybody can do it, Swirl can. The best confirmed player in this tournament at the moment, but Crunchy on the lurk from behind. Swirl needs to be careful. Underarm comes around. Swirl's good. He's got 4. There's only 1 player remaining. 24 HP. Crunchy. 1 bullet was all it took. And it was a rampage from Swirl that comes to an end. Bobo pick up their first round.
Whew, what a heartbreaker that almost was there. 95X. You can see why Swirl's top of the ACS. You don't see players like that from anybody else in the region. Swirl, he just has the X factor about him here, and Bobo, they almost dropped that one. Crunchy thanking his lucky stars that knife only hit the chest, not the head. 95X though, still plenty of money, still plenty of rounds to work with. Bobo, they need to keep this up.
Yeah, a couple pixels in it. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Bladestorm available. Or is it? Never mind, I'm thinking the Neural Theft available. We see a smoke over towards the B side. We also have the From the Shadows too for Watt, who's been on fire so far, but a bit of a slow rollout here from 95X. Shaping up over towards the B mid. In the alleyway, Nellery in the nook. Dragon from downrange with the headhunter gets 1, but Swirl swings out and answers it back. So Nellery removed. Control. I was about to say in 95X over towards that alleyway, but Dragon is there. 2 to force is out.
That's a bit of an interesting smoke from Crunchy. I believe The call was to help Dragon get a little bit closer, but they do have info of that spike. It's dropped in Link. You can see Swell trying to wrap in a swarm, but Yafang is holding the tube. But Swell, he does him one better, popped ahead, and Yafang never lucky. Looking to go into the next round in hopefully higher spirits. A 3v3. What, trying to walk it onto the A site, but Crunchy's already there, ready to pop at a moment's notice. Dragon getting aggressive through mid. He's going to catch Swirl with the knife out. Doesn't hit the shot. Missing a few more. He's dipped down to 1 HP, but Will finally able to find it. Dragon to take Swirl out. Diffs him in the head-to-head. Now it's up to Mike.
1 HP, 1 bullet. He made it work. Oh, camera taken down. Mike swings. And he's good for it. Dragon going to swing out too, but he does have that tour. Need to be very, very careful. 1 HP. There's the trap triggered away. Mike has to get this, and Dragon is going to end the round with 4 and just lets the classic do the talking to round things out. Another round on the board here from Bobo, and everybody just starting to come into their own a little bit. Yifeng, big grinner. Big, big grinner, big, big winner. Look at these boys. 2 on the row, Tony. That's exactly where they want to be.
Yeah, your Fang's having a rough start, but of course it's kind of hard. You're slotting in straight to the Sentinel role on a very, very strat-heavy map against a very strat-heavy team like 95X. So it's good to see he's still in high spirits. He's not tilted at all. He's got the lockdown now online, but I have to say, huge round from Dragon there. Securing 4 means that Tour de Force comes online almost a little bit quicker, but of course, the rest of them, Bobo, they've got ultimates, and well, 95X, the economy's starting to bleed a little thin now.
It is, and this is what I was talking about. If they get a little bit too far ahead of themselves, Bobo will claw their way back, and that's exactly what they're starting to do here. Swell does have the operator out, and we know what he can do with that, especially when you're over towards this B long side, but there is the Astra cover coming courtesy of Crunchy, and that will just nullify the threat of Swell for a few more seconds as they still shape up over towards this B site, just waiting, biding their time, but Minimize going around, biggest brain in OCE, as a look towards the backside for the potential flank.
Yeah, he's thinking long and hard there. Of course, they do have the wire there, but they are going to clear it with the drone. Yafang is going to toss the swarm, so they can't swing him. He needs to be careful of the other position. Unfortunately, mid, very much one of those angles that you kind of don't want to take a fight in, especially with so open, though. Yafang able to find out Minimize. Swell will be finding one to the back of side. That's Nellery taken out. That's a lot of util denied for the retake here. Yafang, he's getting aggressive. He's getting one on the Punda, maybe tags him up a little bit and getting in the fray. That's what we want to see out of Yafang now. Crunchy, an interesting spot towards the top of the site. He's going to drop down with the info and the nut on to the remaining one will be taken out. Yafang with a turret.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you get the kills, Tony, as long as you get them on the board. And a little turret comes good. Exactly. We're going to see a lockdown here. There is a little bit of a gap over towards the backup hall where you can be safe, and Swirl gets one before he retreats to it, but Dragon pushes up the back of it. He's good, but he's immediately clapped back. Now Noz trying to stick this defuse. He's been in this situation before, and the Glug buff on the Vandal is going to secure the round here. Bobo answering back with a vengeance. 3 in a row now.
Washes him to shore. Nothing you can do there. Huge clutch, I have to say. Very smart from Noz. Half taps it, doesn't stick it fully, of course, and then just holds that headshot angle. He knows he's got the advantage there if he crouches. Makes that hitbox a little bit harder to hit. And, well, for Bobo, back on a run, it would seem. As 95X, they've still got guns to work with. Swirl, currently 13-4. Nothing to shy your head away from. But, of course, is going to be one away from the knives. They're going to get him that ultimate orb over towards the A site. Bobo, they've still got the Cosmic Divide. They've still got the Nightfall for the info as well.
They do. There's a lot going in their favor. The Cosmic Divide is huge, and Crunchy off to a great start here. Removes what? So that's -1 Omen here for 95X. There's the Hunter's Fury. Going to sweep across the map, but good position being held here. They're just going to let the util speak for itself. It dissipates. Crunchy's on the other side of the smoke. Peekaboo. And he takes down Swirl. Nicely done. Minimize will answer him back, though. But here come 95X. They're good for 2, and they open up this A site. We'll see the fragment clearing out Art, but this is what they did in the early stages of this half, Tony. They hit this site hard. They got the spike down. They controlled Bobo out.
But there's that Nightfall, there's the info. Nellery goes for the swing with it, but of course, this is a great flank coming in from Dragon right now. Minimize has got no clue. He thinks they're all 3 coming from Art. Up in the hands of Noz. This is a very, very hard situation for Punda to win right now. Does have the recon dart, will hit the shot on the Dragon as he swings from main. Punda's on for 3, and he just needs to play the time. Operator in the hands of Noz, so he's going to be a little bit slower to find this pick, and this is a great wrap to Flowers now. Shock Dart comes out just to pepper Noz down, and this shot needs to hit right now because the time is ticking. Punda has played this absolutely perfectly. Noz gets the shot, but the round goes to 95x.
Yeah, nicely done. He just did let the time do its thing there. He played everything to perfection, bided, waited, and then just, you know what? He threw his life down at the end there, Tony, rather heroically, but it was enough. 95x. They secure it. Well done. They very much needed that. As you said, their economy was just starting to bleed a little bit. Minimize, just dishing out the orders to his troops, saying, good stuff, boys. Well done. Let's have a little bit more of that. So they take the lead. Well, they still have the lead. Rather, they extend it by 1. It's 5-3. Bobo, very, very hot on their heels. But 3 ults on the side of 95x will be assisting them in this round.
It's going to be an interesting one. I had to say that Nightfall was great from Neller. He kind of just had to wait a little bit more for Noz to get there so they could secure that retake. The magical stuff from Punda. Huge 3. Gets himself a 3 away from the Hunter's Fury, but of course we still see the From the Shadows available. Swellmo has the knives from it, trying to get that ultimate orb in the previous, and this is a rough buy for Boba. You can see one Sheriff, Shorty here for Nellery. He's going to be playing that close range angle, trying to play the trade with Dragon towards the door, but 95x not tempting any sort of fate towards that position. It's straight back to A main.
Yeah, slow rollout here from 95x. Tiptoe by tiptoe, they head over towards A. But, you know, almost like an open book. Well read there by the KO. Throws the flash over the top. Minimize gets 1. Noz answers back, so it's a 4-on-4. We will see the 0 point going out. Classic from Yifang at close range. Will take down Punda. Just not expecting that, but again, 95x answer back. It's just tit for tat. 1-for-1 styles of play here. Yifang manages to secure a Sheriff and get out of there. Or does he know what with the From the Shadows? That's how you play Omen. Nicely done. It's now a 3-on-2, and Bobo at the disadvantage. Spike in the hands of Mike. He's over towards the midsection. No, in fact, it's in the hands of what? He's at A. Smoke is covering. Will he be able to get it down? Noz is there. Operator in hand. This is good for 95x. This is a position they want to be.
Planted.
Yeah, that was a huge front smoke there from Watt. A huge play on From the Shadows. He baits Yifang, getting greedy for that gun. He knows he wanted to secure it. Noz looking to walk up slowly, spots the shoulder of Minimize, a bit wider of a boy that KO is. And Watt is playing deep in the site there. Dragon is going to catch Mike off guard. Nobody was expecting that arc flank, and now it's up to Watt in the 1v1 against Dragon. He misses a few shots, and Dragon only has a few of his own to work with, but Watt is going to be playing the time. Ring around to Rosie again. It's so hard to deny the plant. The defuse is coming in from Dragon right now, but he is tagged up, taken low. Time ticket even further. Watt's just playing it so perfectly. A 3 to close it with the classic, and 95x again with a huge clutch.
Just doing the dance. 2 in a row, 95x. They definitely know how to tiptoe. And 2 rounds in a row now, it's secured them the round. So nicely done. They did invest a couple ultimates into that round, Tony. So they are a little bit worse off in that department. But if it gets you across the line, that's basically the result that you're looking for. Crunchy's been holding on to this Cosmic Divide for quite some time now. I guess he just hasn't found the most opportune time to use it. Bobo was swinging very, very early at the start of these rounds to try and get those initial picks. And 95x, they were doing that. They were reading into it and just falling into the laps of Bobo. They're playing it slow now, but as I say that, they're probably going to make me eat my words. They're hitting B, and they're hitting it hard.
Yeah, and I believe that's what Crunchy's holding on to the Cosmic Divide for. That B hit, and there it is, immediately on cue. Haunt comes out from Nellery too. They've got so much info, and they've got so much room to outplay this site. But Swirl, the aggressive man that he is, gets in towards the back wall. So much space now to deny, but Crunchy, he's sitting up top. He's got some shots. He's got some angles. You can see Minimize isn't getting res. He's holding for that plant player to swing, but Punda will take out Crunchy. Dragon and Yifang now to retake this site. They haven't got much utility to work with. Dragon gets dinked up. Crunchy is going to take out Minimize in the end of things. It's the 2v2, but the Hunter's Fury denies the tap. The Swarm goes in from Yifang, but Swirl, he's so slippery. He's stuck around the back. He hits another shot on Dragon. He gets away from Yifang too. You can't touch Swirl right now. He's an unstoppable monster, and Punda will find the final kill. Yifang falls, and 95x put another to the board.
I'll tell you what, Swirl has just been I don't know, dipped in oil or something. There's nobody can get close to him. No bullets can touch him. Nobody can get a hand on him. He's just so slippery. And he's making mincemeat out of Bobo whenever he gets the chance. You saw how hard he was able to dash towards the back of that B site and took immediate control of halls off the back of a frag. 95X, when they hit sites like that, they are so dangerous. And Bobo, they stemmed the flow a little bit, but now they're starting to struggle. And you can see that reflected in their buy here, Tony.
And it's looking a little bit rough. Tour de force out from Dragon, trying to force the issue here. Bobo, they've been stuck at this kind of slower style of play that 95X have been executing and kind of need to go for some aggressive plays, potentially. Pearl, one of those maps you can kind of go for a mid peak or you can go for a B long peak like they did last round. And now you can see the Raps coming in. Swirl is dashed. He's all the way on the side. Nellery's got no idea. He has heard the noise. Now knows that he is top side. Dragon will be able to find one, but it's a clean bloodbath here. 95X enter into the site. It's Crunchy and Dragon left to retake it.
Crunchy has a sheriff. This is going to be a tall order. Dragon does have the tour de force, so if anybody's going to have to carry the load here, it's definitely him, but there's a player at close range. The no-scope misses, but what does not? He takes down both. In fact, Noz and Dragon on the receiving end of some Sublime gunplay, but there is Minimize and Mike sitting towards the back and almost boosting up on top of each other. That's almost torture to look at, isn't it? When you when you're the last remaining player, who do you shoot? But it's going to be another round for 95X.
Yeah, it's pure pain. Absolutely pure pain. You get totem poled on Pearl. You hate to see it. Bobo in rough spirits. I feel like they're still smiling, Kit. They have to be. They're enjoying themselves. Who doesn't like to play some top tier Valorant against a team like 95X? You definitely love to see it. And 95X, they've looked so solid on these executes. I have to say, just clean cut, regimented. You can see that week has definitely paid dividends for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be one of the last chances you will get to see Bobo in their prime, because they are disbanding, sadly, after this tourney. Players, like we said, getting picked up. Good on them. But Bobo's still here, still duking it out. And 95X, more than up to the challenge.
Here.
As Bobo, currently undefeated, you know, staring down the barrel of a potential 9-3 coming into half-time here. There's Dragon over towards this A-long. At the back of the box here. Now, this is interesting. Will they be expecting it? Punda not checking it. And Dragon holds firm.
A very smart play there from Dragon, but you can see that the rest of the 95X have wrapped through. This is going to be rough now for Dragon, who's caught between so many players. Crunchy, though, again on this off angle. Early smoke in. Nobody's going to check it. Crunchy clears for 2, and there's 2 left now in the site. It's Minimize and Swirl with their backs against the world. You can see a few players coming from Art, a few players coming from Flower. Minimize to hit that shot, but Yafang follows one up and he follows with a second. Doubles down for Bobo to find the last round of the half.
Very nicely done. So we will not be having the 9-3 curse. It is going to be 4-8. Oh, may as well throw it out. Why not? Well done. Yifang, who got styled on a little bit in the first opening rounds of this half, it must be said, has definitely come into his own, and we haven't been able to knock that grin off his face. Not for a moment.
Hey, he's a very, very loving guy. Very nice as well. I've met him in person. Very, very friendly overall. And that's what you want in a situation like this where you're down a few rounds, and especially going into now the second half where 95X get a little bit scarier with their composition. I have to say, though, Bobo, huge play again from Crunchy. That smoke towards the front of A main. 95X cleared it last time. They didn't this time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
He waits and he strikes from the shadows, like the boogeyman. Crunchy, you got to check everything, especially when you're going up against a player like him. There are some big brains in this server on both teams. Crunchy, he is one of them, that's for sure. But if we head into the pistol round for this half, 95X boasting an impressive lead. Swirl from down range. It's the opening frag onto Dragon at the mid alleyway.
That's a scary shot to come out here, and you can see Minimize, he's expecting the push to come through Hall, and there it is. Noz going to arc the flash. He actually will find Minimize, but of course a very brave call to make with the frenzy, especially with so many players coming your direction. You can see now 3 left for 95X. The plate hasn't come down. Yafang's so scared of the retake coming through here from 95X. As soon as he taps that spike, he's going to get shot at. Mike, huge one from downrange. It's now up to Noz. No flashes left, no knife available just yet for the info. Punda's just going to swing in with a frenzy, a little bit of BM as well. 95X are feeling in their element in this first one.
They are definitely starting to look more than threatening here, Tony. They're starting to look victorious. If they can chain a couple more of these rounds together, they're going to be running away with map number 1 here and dishing up Bobo, I believe, their first map loss. Maybe we'll have to look into that. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, well, of course, they're undefeated at the moment, but I believe they did drop a map. It was to the Honey Badgers in their week 2 match.
There we go.
It was actually Icebox, which is in the pool next.
Oh, so strap yourselves in. If Bobo go down here, they're going to be fighting tooth and nail on the only map that they have lost. Yes, I do see it there, actually. Very nice. We haven't actually had the opportunity to cast an Icebox yet. Looking forward to that one. But 4-9 here as the Bobo lads now on attack. Shape up towards Art. This is something 95X didn't really do. They decided to hit hard down A main. This time it's a full 5-man, a stack up. Make it a 4-man because you've got Crunchy on the lurk. But this is dangerous here. Bobo, they might be able to catch a couple members off guard. There are only 2 95X members over towards this A site. Noz spotted by the camera, and the Cyber Cage triggers 3. That's how you play Cypher. Mike just denying the attack onto this site through Art.
Yeah, great little cage, great little info play. You can see that 95X are scared of anything that's being thrown their way right now. It's up to Bobo to make the moves, to make the plays. Again, what with this Bulldog, we're going to come out roaring. The smoke close range is going to find one, but he's only good for it. Swell lines up a few with that Marshall. Scoped in, maybe looking to find Crunchy, but he's a slippery man around those smokes. He is just going to sit amongst this. Yeah, find the one on the Swell, minimize. Forced to trade it back. They still have control of the spike. They have to still deal with Dragon, though. A great little shot from Minimize. Picks up the Bulldog. Invites 95X double digits.
This is good. This is very good here from 95X. And I know they've got a lot of fans out there currently in the chat. And I'll tell you what, this is the best time to be a supporter of them. They are on fire here against the undefeated Bobo. Bobo only dropping, as you said, 1 map throughout the entirety of this tournament so far. Currently undefeated in terms of matches overall. But this is a, well, you couldn't ask for a much better performance here from 95X. Everybody's stepping up here. Swell, the king, the GOAT, leading the charge here, dropping the 20 bomb. And we've only just started the second half.
This is a stat padding game against the best in the region at the moment. Bobo currently undefeated, as you said. And Swell's just putting on an absolute clinic. Honey Badgers, your Fang, of course, I believe, subbed in 1 game or 2. Bobo looking to call on him. They're looking to call on all the troops right now, trying to get into this B site. 95X, of course, they're playing off of it. They don't have to play in Hall and all when they have so much potential for the retake. And you can see Bobo has to kill themselves a site, clearing every corner. Fang, he needs to be cautious, though. There is a player on the flank. There is another as well. Punda able to take out Crunchy. What is looking for a few wild sheriff shots, but this is the gun difference right now for 95X. Unfortunately, didn't quite have as many Bulldogs, as many Spectres, and many Vandals as they want to bring into this one.
Yeah, Punda from downtown tries to make it work. Unfortunately, it cannot do so. And well done there. So Bobo on the board, courtesy of Yifang, and they answer it back. So 95X, they do love that aggressive buy, but they were held over from the previous round. So Bobo, they really needed that. They lost their buy round in the first half, so they make amends. But still have a lot of ground to cover here. 95X with an impressive 5-round lead. But the economy looking good for both of these teams. This is where I think we're going to see, you know, the best clash of horns from these teams this half so far, Tony.
Yeah, very even buy across the board, except for Swirl with that sniper in play. Of course, looking to swing towards main, but nobody over at that A site. Bobo really like their odds of being. You can't really blame them, especially with the Astra, especially with Noz on this KO. You can clear so many corners so quickly. The cage is going to come out, triggered by the Prowler, perfectly baited there. And on Bobo, they've got the site for free with the help of Crunchy smokes.
Yeah, they left it completely open there, did 95X. So all that util was completely invested by Bobo. And they didn't actually catch anybody with it, but they did gain information. And I suppose that's all you need. Nicely done there from Dragon. Getting one rendezvousing away. Now he gets a second one. And here comes Crunchy through that mid side on the flank. You're not expecting it. Minimize, causing problems. But so is Swirl with that operator in hand. He was over towards that A side, very late to rotate. And now he arrives on scene. It's all up to Noz. Fragment in hand. The spike ticking away. He's going to toss it out. He's at the pillar. Swirl knows he's no fool. Underarm,
Enemy
but
remaining.
Swirl just on the other side here. But hello, the fragment may have done enough here. I think so. It's going to be mere milliseconds in it. Just Tony. Nail biter. 0.6.
Oh my. Smart play from
Almost.
Noz. Almost. Smart play from Noz, I have to say, though. He just arced the flash the wrong side. It's a game of 50-50.
Yeah.
He didn't know which angle Swirl was peeking, so you can't really fault Noz there. Smart play from Swirl, reading that he was going to arc the flash to the left. 95x, now 2 away from making an absolute statement here in this first map.
Yeah, this is incredible. We weren't expecting this. We were expecting Bobo to win, or at least for it to be a little bit closer here, but credit to 95x. They have come out absolutely gnashing here at Bobo, who just really are struggling to chain these rounds together on both defense, and now that they're on attack, they've got 2 ults to play with, yes, but every time they get 1 foot forward, 95x are just 2 ahead. They've got 2 ults. 95x have 3.
Yeah, they've got the Null Command, Blade Storm, and the Neural Theft. No, Null Command available from Noz. You will be looking to pop it. They do have the Cosmic Divide. They can look to take a very, very quick B site as these smokes come up from Crunchy. Noz is tagged up to 51, but does have a second life available. What is going to find the first pick, though? He's found a second on the Delary. Yifeng trying to shoot some ducks as he crosses into the site, but he's taken completely where he stands. Up to Dragon, wrapping through Art. He has found the first back, but it's 3 players still left. He's the last player standing. The spike is dropped in the open. And Dragon, he's going to have to clear every angle, too. He's got no idea. He has heard the updraft there from Swirl. Does have some sort of info. Updraft dash. Tailwind towards the site. 95x, they're going to play it together. Power in numbers, and Dragon is going to have to put something of a miracle up here.
Oop, spot Swirl at the back of pit, but Swirl more than up to the challenge. He'll take the fight to you any day of the week, especially with a Blade Storm out. And 95x find themselves on match point here on Pearl, map number 1 of this best of 3. So still a little bit to go, Tony, but wow, what a performance so far. Bobo on 5. That's insanity. 95x, where have you been?
They've definitely taken that break to heart, and definitely took that last series to heart. XBFG, of course, next gen really tested them, and I have to say, this is what happens when you're given time to fix your mistakes. 95x looking absolutely flawless. Bobo, they've had a few rounds of brilliance at the first half, but it's been rough to say the least, and they need some sort of magic to happen. Looking towards this B site again, and this time 95x are opting to play it a little bit more aggressively.
They are. They need to hit these sites hard because 95x, they know how to hit a site with conviction. So if anybody knows how to stop one, it is them. Bobo taking this one nice and slow now. We see the lockdown. It's actually a little bit far out, so that's going to leave a couple gaps for the hole holder to hide away from this one. You can see them pushing around now. Swirl again, just so good. Now he retreats away. Dragon comes up close with the tour de force, and when he has this ult online, he's dangerous. Pushes through the Cosmic Divide, can't quite convert it, but Minimize is there. He need to be careful. He gets 1, but that's all he's good for because Yifeng answers back. Swirl in a vulgar position that nobody's going to check. Wunder up the top now. Nicely done. Yifeng was watching. Now it's a 3-on-3. The spike still yet to be planted down. And this B side is just an absolute hotbox of utility here at the moment. 2 quick ones for 95x. All they need is 1 more kill. It's the international representative, Crunchy. What can he do? He's got to take down 3 95x members. 1 up the top. He gets 1. Can't spray down Swirl, who's sitting out the back. Swirl double cloud bursts. Just denies him here. Crunchy has to plant the spike. He has to go in.
Left.
10 seconds remaining. 93 HP. Crunchy gets spike, but Swirl swings. And that is going to be the game for 95x. They take map number 1 in convincing fashion against the currently undefeated in terms of overall matches, Bobo.
And you can see Mike standing up straight away. He's pumped about that victory, and the rest of the team looking very cool, calm, collected. I have to say, Minimize definitely leading the charge for his troops well. And, well, for the side of Bobo, a very, very unfortunate loss handed their way. Of course, that was 95x's pick, and I have to say, Pearl definitely still much in the meta, and what a game it was from Swirl, I have to say.
Oh, leading the charge. He is the best in this tournament, possibly the region. And I'm going to call it right here, Tony. The next player to get picked up to go international from this region is going to be Swirl. You cannot fault the man's play. Just watch that game. Absolutely flawless. A masterclass doesn't do what we just saw justice. I mean, absolutely incredible. 95x, well deserved.
I have to say as well, of course, mechanical shots were on point, but Swirl, he isolated those duels so well. He knew how to play that map. He knew every single angle he could shoot from and then get away, playing such a slippery jet, and you can see MVP performance from Swirl, absolutely huge.
Yeah, insanity. But Dragon, great job there on the chamber, you know, doing chamber things, getting those first bloods, rendezvousing back out. So well done, and a deserved position getter for the unfortunately defeated Bobo. But good news for them is that there is still a lot more Valorant to be played, and I suppose that's good news for you guys watching at home too. So don't go too far, because we're going to have map number 2 of Bobo versus 95x just on the other side of this break. So we'll see you shortly.
Chance. You keep her alive. Save her, you can save her.
If you've come this far, then you know what's out there.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Kia ora, I'm that guy's NJ, joined by the always excellent Kitfox as we continue our review of The Last of Us, now streaming on Neon. And this week we are doing episodes 4 and 5. Tim.
Listen, it was one of those episodes where it knitted everything together.
Save her, you can save her.
Now with episode 4, we are finally introduced to Aotearoa's very own Melanie Linsky in the role of Kathleen, leader of the Resistance. Now she has taken over a quarantine zone where Joel and Ellie have been ambushed, and she asks the pertinent question, that question being, Tim,
Where is he? Where's Henry?
Where's Henry?
Is that Henry?
Where is
No,
he?
is that Henry over there?
Where is he?
It becomes a very important question throughout the episode, not only during the battle that Joel and Ellie take place in, but also the introduction of Kathleen herself, as she kind of keeps asking it and takes some very lethal measures to get the answer for it.
She's ruthless. She's kind but yet ruthless, and I like that.
And then that ends up tying into episode 5, which is we finally see this kind of mini flashback as to who is Henry, why is Henry, and also who is Sam. And now with that, it leads down to almost the ultimate showdown between Kathleen and the Resistance.
It finally,
and Joel and Ellie
finally
and
comes to fruition.
Yeah.
And that's the first time we see people versus people here. There's so many different enemies in this world, but when push comes to shove and we need food, we need all these things, it is a very, very cutthroat world that they live in.
You're right, a lot of the fights that we've seen so far have kind of almost been personal in a way. You know, it was Joel versus that one Fedra guard in episode 1, and then with Bill and Frank, it was like 2 of them versus maybe 4 bandits, but now it's like Joel and Ellie versus like 5 dudes. And Joel's having to step into that violence again. It's such a funny sensation for him because he tries to avoid it, just keeps getting pulled back in. Let's look at our top moments for episode 4 and 5. Tim.
For me, just the interaction between Joel and Ellie and how she's still a kid, but she's not a kid.
Episode 5.
It has to be the bloater.
The bloater?
Okay, it has to be the...
Yeah.
It just
The
comes
lad.
out there. Yeah, and you look at it and you just think, wow,
That's going to cause some trouble.
Yeah.
So that's been our review of episodes 4 and 5 for The Last of Us, now streaming on Neon. You can grab yourself a free 7-day trial by signing up at neontv.co.nz. As always, I have been that guy's NJ, joined by the always excellent Tim Provides. Until next time, ka kite.
And welcome back to the Valorant Challenges Oceania. My name is Kitfox. I'm joined by TwoTapTony and TwoTap, my man. We just had one hell of a match. It was Bobo, the currently undefeated Bobo, mind you, going up against 95X. And 95X didn't just win, they dominated.
Yeah, absolutely. Pearl, a performance to say the least. Of course, everybody really showing up big. Of course, some early stage rounds that went the way of 95X, and then you saw Bobo start to climb and back, and then it was difference maker swirl. Absolute clinical performance from him in and out of the server. And 95X, I have to say, that's a very well adjusted Pearl. That's the work of a lot of hard yards in the scrim server, in the prac. 95X minimize definitely showing that, you know, when you put in the hard yards, when you put in the hours to fix your mistakes, it really pays dividends.
Yep, that is the grind personified right there. Minimize, you know, in the interview where we caught up with him, spoke a little bit about Pearl and how teams sort of thought they would catch each other off guard by playing it, but you know, when all the teams do play it, you have to put in the work to be the best, and Swirl, he is definitely the best. The ACS King, 375, Jesus.
Oh, he's closing that gap too. He's making that gap absolutely huge in terms of the top spot for him, because of course it's currently sitting at 308. That game, I definitely would assume, bumps those numbers astronomically, and well, showing that he's a cut above the rest. 95X showing that they're a cut above the rest. And of course we go to Icebox now, Kit, as our second map, Bobo's pick, and it's a little bit of an interesting one, because last time we saw these teams play Icebox, it was actually in week 2 for 95X. They got outclassed by Fun Crew, and of course you heard the interview from Minimize. Fun Crew catching them off guard in that 2-0 victory back in week 2, and that has to kind of play on your mind going into a map pick like Icebox against a team like Bobo.
Yeah, and you know, Bobo played Icebox against the Honey Badgers as well, and that was the deciding map, and I think that's why they've picked it here, because they know that they can pick up the dubs on it when they need to. You know, it was a convincing win as well. It was 13-6, so even though we haven't seen a whole lot of Icebox, definitely not as much as Fracture or say your Pearl, Bobo know how to play it. You know, it's a map that, you know, was once hated and then very much found its way into the meta. It was often picked first or second, you know, sometimes even third. But TLDR, my man, we used to always see Icebox. Not so much nowadays, but I like the throwback.
Yeah, Icebox always I guess a pick that's in the back pocket of half of these teams in the region. And yeah, especially throwing back to last split, of course, last year's VCT, and we saw so many teams like Bobo, of course, I believe Bonkers back in the day used to really play that map heavily. And of course, a lot of these players have been on teams that have opted to play Icebox heavily. Of course, Plix and Crunchy, when they were on that Sonics roster overseas, loved to pick Icebox. It was one of the bread and butters that really made them a household name here in OS, and then going overseas to NA was a huge thing for them. But of course, I want to wind it back as well. I want to look at 95X here on Icebox. They're a little bit of a dark horse, I'd have to say. The last game against Fun Crew, it was a close one, 10-13. So of course they're no slouches on the map. especially against a team like Bobo, you have to fear for players like Dragon popping off on this map.
You do, and on Icebox as well, it's a lot about your utility players, so expect to see some Vipers. You know, Icebox is basically the Vipers playground. It has to be said, no matter the A side or the B side, you can even play Viper at mid. You know, there are walls where you can position your Viper in the middle of the map to cover either side of the map. So if you are good at placing your util, and if you have gigabrains like a lot of the players in this server do, you know, Crunchy does, Minimize does, you know, even Yifang does, you know, incredible Sova, it has to be said. So Icebox, I think this is the perfect map, considering that we are seeing 95x, well, the side of 95x that we haven't really seen before. You know, the performance from Swirl, you know, as great as it was, Tony, I have to kind of play devil's advocate a little bit. If you take down Swirl, he was so dominant. If you take him down, the rest of the team wasn't really, in terms of, you know, hard KD, be it that Swirl stealing the kills or whatever, he was just that good. But on paper, you know, it was very much a Swirl-dominated victory. If you can take him down early in these rounds, I think things might be a little bit different for Bobo, especially on the map of Icebox that they've chosen. Have a look. And I know, I've only picked it once, but 100% win rate.
100% win rate, you can't doubt it. You can see why Haven definitely was banned. 100% win rate on that map. Don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Of course, 3 map sites are in. Lotus is in the pool. We don't get to quite see it in this series, unfortunately, but Lotus and Haven are still in the pool. Bind and Breeze, of course, taken out. And Bind was also an interesting thing to be taken out because that's one of Bobo's specialties. They love to play a map like Bind. That being taken out of the pool kind of very much hurts them for the rest of this split, I have to say. And they're going to have to make a lot of adaptations as well because, as you said, Viper, a very, very prominent pick on this map, but they've lost their Viper player. RD's no longer here.
Yeah.
So who picks it up?
That's the question, isn't it? Will it be Yifang? I know it's hard, though, because even though this is Icebox, do you roll with the server? He's very, very strong on this map, but, you know, do you roll with the Fade? That's another question. What will we see Yifang play? We'll just have to wait and see, Tony. Time will tell. We are getting so excited for this one. I know I am, personally. Have a look at this map win rate here for 95x. It's not great coming into Icebox, even though it is only one stat to go by. It's a negative one.
And it's not great. 0-1, and of course, as well, Ascent hasn't been played 5x right and now. Because for the you see Fracture Pearl, as Minimize said, some of the most picked maps right now. Fracture, of course, 75%. We saw it. Clinical performance there on Fracture. That's why they've got another win to their belt. And it's going to be an interesting one as well. As you said, the team comp's going to be a little bit interesting from Bobo. And from what we've seen, 95x as well like to shake it up. They like to put Mike on that stage. They put him in a little bit more of a passive, more kind of team-oriented role as opposed to popping off on some of the doors or, of course, popping off on the Sentinel. And, you know, this is going to be Bobo's testament to make here. Can they do it on Icebox and take us to Ascent?
You know, we saw Dragon play Chamber, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Chamber again coming out here on Icebox. So strong. Even though Rendezvous has kind of been nerfed to the ground a little bit, there are still, you know, there's still a lot of potential for Chamber to have that first blood impact. And, you know, we saw the stats from the previous game, Tony. Dragon actually picking up the MVP for the side of Bobo, even though they went down, starting with 5 first bloods. And that's what you want from your Chamber. If you're going to pick your Chamber, that's your job done. You are there to get in, get the frag, and get out. And on a map like Icebox, you can do that, especially over towards the A side or even at the mid. B side, not really so much unless somebody's playing the yellow box. But Chamber, what I'm getting at, TLDR, very, very valuable on this map, especially when you combine him with somebody like the Viper with those good comms. Hide him behind a wall, drop the wall, get the pick. Catch you later.
Yeah, that could be an eco round, quickly won but like that. But of course, we go into our agent selection to see what these teams will lock in. Of course, 95x, they've played a very, very standard comp. They actually looked to run, I believe, the Viper in their previous matchup. And of course, Mike going to the stage, nothing crazy different here. What to the Viper?
Hello.
Stock standard picks, but Bobo, that's a harbor lock-in from Dragon. That's a little bit of an interesting one. It's Noz and Crunchy double duelist.
Okay. Now, I was watching the VCT lock-ins over the weekend, and it was the current world champions Loud going up against Talon. And we saw the Harbor picked from Loud, and it was played so well. Look, it's hard to justify Harbor when you kind of have better screen options, you know, like your Viper or somebody like that, but I'll tell you what, in the right hands, I don't know if it was because they were the current world champions or you'd expect nonetheless from them, but Harbor was dangerous, man. Talon did not know what hit them, and maybe, just maybe, that's what Bobo are going to try to do here to 95X.
Hear me out. I think I've crafted what strat they're going for. It's the dragon, throw the wall to cover Noz and Crunchy flying out through it.
You know what? I reckon that's going to happen, dude. I reckon we'll see the Sage Wall come into play as well. And have a look at how hard Bobo are hitting this B side already. Dragon already charging up that wall. There it is. It's going to come out from Harbor. And no Viper. Well, they do have a Viper, except this time it's going to be on the side of 95X. The orb goes out, and Yifang is hippity-hopping his way across the top there. Spike Downski. The flank is on from 95X.
Now, the flank is on, though. Yifang able to take out Swirl. That shut down that key player early on, and you can now see hopping over that wall. There's so much util at play here for Bobo for the post plant. Minimize has found one on a dragon. He pops the flash on top of Nellery, and that's what you hate to see right now. It's now up to Noz. It's now up to Crunchy. Noz has found two. He's looking for his third on the what, but he is going to jiggle that wall perfectly. 95X come in for the retake, but I have to say, a very solid site take there from Bobo with the Harbor.
Yeah, has to be said. They got the spike down, they got the moolah, but 95X get the round. They hold on with a bit more of a conventional composition. You can see Viper just in that retake scenario, extremely strong there. That Toxic Orb doing the work. And it seems it's just, you know, once Harbor makes that initial impact, he kind of sits back there like a sitting duck almost, but nevertheless, I guess you can say job done. Noz whipping out the Marshall, looking to pop a couple heads, but 95X Minimize has that Bulldog, and then Spectres right across the board.
I want to know which chef in the kitchen was cooking this. Was it Nellery? Like, you know what? Run the Harbor. We'll see what happens. There you can see High Tide out towards that screen's position. Preferably you want a Viper there, but of course the Harbor going to do just the same work. They are going to walk through the wall themselves. They are going to be slowed up by it. That's the unfortunate thing about throwing a wall like this. Swirl is going to be up top. Nothing Dragon can do about it. He's got the high ground. And Bobo, they're going to have to rotate out.
Yeah, they are. Lots of util invested over towards that A site means they're a little bit exposed, and it is a long run from A to B here, but the spike in the hands of Nellery with 12 HP. Needs to be very careful. Takes his position at the back of the conga line over towards this B site. Gonna grab that ult orb and just make the journey somewhat, somewhat justified, but Mike is there waiting with the opposing Sage, throws the slowing orb out, and that just might be enough here. 95X with complete control, with that Harbor down. You can just see Bobo very exposed. They have no cover whatsoever, and raining down on high. It was what up in the top of container. Crunchy finally takes him down, but that's all he's good for. Mike does the rest. Sorry, Minimize does the rest, and he lets him know about it too.
That was a huge round there, keeping 4 guns alive for all the side of 95X, and well, now we see the Bobo buy. Third round's a charm, potentially. A few with light shields. Of course, nobody near ultimates just yet. We're only 2 rounds in. Nobody's really gone crazy, except for Minimize. Currently 4 kills to his name. Half charge to that Nell command that could be very good in holding an aggressive Bobo site take. He can just arc those swarms through that wall, and nothing really Bobo can do about it.
Yep, they just have to wait this one out or reveal their position, and they are going to let them know that they are up for the challenge. Bobo break the wall, but 95X gain information off that alone. You can see the Owl drone going out over the top. Minute 20 remaining, so Nellery and Noz, the rest of the boys combined, but 95X are there and waiting. Crunchy waits for the flank, but Swirl, just ever so clinical, finds the head.
He's a movement god on that jet. I don't want to go against Swirl ever in the server, especially on that jet. It's interesting to see that 95X are opting to put Swirl on that jet, letting him play a little bit more loose, letting him run amok here. Now to Yifang and Noz will try to get that spike pick up, but Noz has found two over towards the B site. Spike is still down in the hands of 95X though after that kill was found onto Yifang. Tailwind is charged up. One Cloudburst to get that spike. It's just on top of it that the shots are coming out from Punda. He's repositioned, but Noz, he finds the shot. He's now looking for a 1v1 against the king of the ACS, looking to dethrone him right now. Noz, he's looking for that 4. He's looking for it. He thought he was up top, but he's down under, hiding behind the box, only showing his head. If he checked that angle correctly, he would have won that. But 95X, they go up 3-0.
They do go up 3-0, and a bit of deja vu about this, Tony. They did exactly this on Pearl, you know, the first map we played, and look at them. Bunch of cool cucumbers, a lot of them. Swell, being very, very vocal, keeping hydrated. You love to see it. And why wouldn't you be? You're sitting pretty against the champs. 3-0 and 95X. They've just broken the economy of Bobo. That was their buy. That was the best chance they had so far. So 3 could very quickly become 4 here, Tony, if Bobo aren't careful.
And you can see desperation starts to call. Noz will pop the blades. Will be resurrected immediately, though. The props of having that Sage on your side means you get a second life, a second room to work with, but unfortunately, they need to get into the site. 95X have got it on lock. Great trade from Yifang with Guardian. That's been forced out. What is going to use that wall very, very aggressively, playing up a height angle. He is going to be over his head. Traded blows are happening right now, and What's lucky to be alive.
I think both of them are very lucky to be alive after that one, Tony. Both players would be rather disappointed they couldn't convert that, but what more so, considering he has the firepower, Yifang has the only firepower for Bobo at the moment and is a Guardian. Nellary taken down. And just like that, it is all up to Yifang. Nice flick of the wrist there at close range onto Swell. But what arrives, and that is going to be the 4th round. Like we said, 3 becomes 4, and 95X just extend their lead a little bit more.
And they're looking well oiled. We start to see maybe a smile there on Watt. He's feeling great about this game. Unfortunately, oh, no, we got minimized back. He froze for a bit. I was a little bit worried. And Crunchy, he's still smiling. Yifang still got a smile on his dial too. You can see that Bobo, even despite the deficit, they're still having fun with this one.
You love to see smiles on the faces here. Like we've alluded to, Bobo, this is going to be the last tournament that we see them in, so good to see them having a little bit of fun, but it is still a lot to be played for here. Money on the line, so it doesn't make sense that they'd be throwing. They're definitely not. 95X are just better when it counts. They're finding the frags, they're landing the util. They're communicating a lot better as well. They've got 3 ults coming into this round, but Crunchy, that's what you need. Nicely done. Takes down Mike and, you know, ground gained as well over towards that midsection and the tube.
Well, it's got a great angle though, holding down that underneath line from the tube, and now the spike is down mid. In comes Swirl to completely flip the script, and all of a sudden, Bobo drop like flies. 95X swatting away these rounds so quickly, Kit. I have to say, Bobo, they need to put a stop on this one. I'm very much still questioning the Harbor pick here from Dragon. Normally we see him on the Duelist, but Crunchy, Noz, they're embarking on their villain arc. They're putting Dragon onto a Sentinel, onto an Initiator, onto something where they want him to do their bidding, and he's probably feeling sad about that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Coach Nellary and Dragon still on the donut, yet to pick up a frag. But things can change. Kind of needs to, for Burbo's sake, more than anything else. 95X currently 5 rounds clear, and they take it nice and slow this time to Bobo over towards that B site. Noz taking the aerial route, but they hear the footsteps, they hear that metal on foot, and we will see the Viper's Pit come out from Watt, and all of a sudden this B site just became a lot more difficult to penetrate.
Yeah, the high tide's up, but the Viper's Pit covers great. Watt is just going to sit actually behind that high tide in the Viper's Pit, so it stays up, and he's completely unscathed. Bobo, they have taken so much space around the front of Yellow towards the middle of the site, but they still have to clear every single position because nobody's fallen yet. Great little shot to come in, clear the Snowman, and Crunchy is going to find the backstab on to Watt. The Viper's Pit goes down, the wall goes up, and now Bobo in a comfortable position to hold this retake off.
Yeah, 95X trying to hit this hard, and that's just the way Swirl plays. He's going to get one, so does Minimize. Swirl finally removed. Now it's a 3-on-2. Bobo Nice little tech there from Punda on the Sova. Swings in, spots a couple players, doesn't know which way to aim, couldn't quite land it, but minimize, he can, but only for one. Crunchy put a Guardian in his hand, and he is a menace. He ends the round with 3, and Bobo get there first.
Bobo one on the board, and Showstopper now online for Crunchy. Yifeng as well has the Hunter's Fury to work with, and I like to see some Sova play out of Yifeng. Always love a good Sova in the server, and well, Yifeng, known for a few aggressive Sova ultimates. Of course, Hunter's Fury can be used as an initiation tool. Of course, you've got Dragon with those high tides, but you can also use that ultimate very, very aggressively. Clear some space, allow the rest of your duelists to walk up and really, really claim the site. And we've seen from previous teams Yifeng's been on, he's very, very opted to that playstyle.
Yeah, definitely no stranger to any position that he finds himself in, especially on the server. You know, that's the OG, that's the bread and butter. And that's where he made his name. Swirl, he's, well, it's a legacy he's making for himself here. Gets spotted over towards the back of yellow box. Needs to be careful because there's players all around him. Monbot goes in, has no choice but to eat it. Crunchy does the rest. All of a sudden, this B site blown wide open. High tide and the Sage wall up. We will see the wall come out now here from Harbour. Yet to see a Reckoning as well. That Cascade going to cause a couple of problems here. Punda going to get caught out by it. Good for one, but that's about it. Crunchy starting to spread his wings a little bit here in this game here, Tony.
Yeah, he's starting to be smooth like butter. You can see that Mike and Watt trying to walk to the site. Crunchy to deal with, and he is going to swing on that snake spike. Backs off completely, only takes a slight tick of damage to that one. And Bobo, they swing it together to find that second round. And as you said, Crunchy starting to warm it up, and definitely loving to see it right now.
Yeah, very nicely done there by Bobo. We got 2 on the board, and the boys still happy. Yifeng, happiest man in OCE Valorant, it would seem. Nellery, we can't see him, but I'm sure he's having a ball as well. And why wouldn't it be? It's always fun when you play Sage. It doesn't matter if you're on 0. It's always good to get those walls out. And you're good for the revives too, which he's still a little bit further away from. But the ult economy is 3 apiece here, TwoTap, which is good news for Bobo. 95x. They're struggling here. They've got a pistol from Swirl, so expect to see the Blade Storm used.
Yeah, I like this discipline from Bobo. They know that Swirl has that Blade Storm, and he is going to pop it aggressively. So
they were looking to spot him, weren't they? Yeah.
They were looking to spot him with the double updraft potentially, but of course Swirl, he's opted for a different approach, and he will be punished. Great little angle hold there from Dragon up towards the top of the rafter. You can see that Bobo can now look to make some space with that one because they know that the B side's a little bit weaker. That's where Swirl was.
Yeah, look, you can play anti-flash, but Bobo right there, they played anti-swirl. They were setting up for him, and then they knew that he would get too aggressive because that's just the way Swirl plays. And now 95x find themselves a man down because of it. High tide, going to provide a wall. Sova somewhere on the other side of it. They know that from the shock dart. Dragon on the board, finally. Manages to take down Watt, and here comes Yifeng, and the Bobo lads all of a sudden looking dangerous. Nons takes control of Container. Fragment does the rest, taking down Nellery, but Yifeng 2G, flawless round there from Bobo, and that's 3 in a row.
Yeah, that's what you need to see. Anti-swirl strats always does wonders, because you said put up some impressive numbers on Pearl, but of course 95x, they're a little bit differential in the frags. You can't really blame Swirl though, he was having a great game. With 95x, the rounds and some of the games they've lost is when teams have opted for the shutdown Swirl strat.
Well, let's see if they were able to do it again. And like I alluded to, Tony, you know, it was a fantastic game the last round, especially from Swirl, but to take him down, there wasn't much chop for the rest of 95x. And you can see it's an absolute ult fiesta over towards this A side at the moment. We saw everything thrown out. We will see finally the first Harbour ult, I believe, of the tournament. Reckoning is out, but 95x arrive. They get 2 quick ones. They take the man advantage as Nellery gets this spike down. Now 95x have to play a retake.
Yeah, but they've got res on Mike. They don't have the weaponry though. Of course, we didn't get to touch on them. Moves are going so quick. Mike able to find the first one. But never mind. He's got Nellery Sage dipped in the server, and Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy shooting from Mike.
That's the 2nd week in a row now that he has put jaws on the floor. Show us your face, Mike. Get that monitor out of your way. Show us that big cheesy grin. Wow. This guy just impresses every single time. When the heat is up, he's in the kitchen cooking. He's more than happy to just roll with it and dish out some absolute carnage like that.
Yeah, Mike, always one to watch for. Of course, he's definitely made his name in this tournament. Very much underrated, I feel, as a player throughout the majority of last year, but he's starting to hit it. He's starting to show why you should never doubt him. Noz looking for the ultra, but it's been held by Mike. They've opted to use the anti-swirl strat against Bobo, and it works. Crunchy, though, has found 2 on the rip, and blast packs across perfectly towards the top of the site. He's looking for Mike now. Dropped in an aggressive angle, but it's going to be your fun to find it. And now it's up to what?
Spike planted.
1v4. He does still have the wall available. Top snake spite as well. That's an aggressive wall back from Dragon. And Crunchy, he's just going to hold the off-angle screens. Crunchy, a huge entry into that site. And again, he's starting to put these numbers up.
Noz was but a distraction, Tony. That's all he was. Probably should have had the kill there. But you know what? Sometimes Valorant just does that. But Bobo, looking to answer back here. 95X were looking to suffocate them. 4 in a row now. And yes, 95X have been doing it with a couple broken economies here and there. But now they get to buy. And they can really start to take it to Bobo here. Remember, the first half of the previous map was a little bit larger than this in terms of rounds, but 95X, if they can continue that form, just need a couple of entry frags here, and we'll see some deja vu. Oh, Noz, though, denies them. Takes one, make it. Well, you know what? This is just going to be a kill feed light up here for Bobo. The revive coming out as well. Mike and Watt, the last 2 remaining members here for 95X. Crunchy, just gliding across this map with those satchel packs.
Yeah, and I guess a little bit of an interesting thing to note. Plix, he used to play a lot of raids, and I guess he's left his knowledge, he's left his advice over to Crunchy, and he will be falling. Your resurrection comes out on the minimize. They now have 3 to retake this B site, but still Watt is standing tall. They haven't taken the site just yet. They still need to clear for Watt. Playing towards the front yellow, looking to play this one perfectly, isolating the duel on the Nellery too, and spikes down at B. It's Noz and Dragon to retrieve it. The poison orb goes up yet again, denying so much time, denying so much space. This is a huge hold from Watt.
They had A as well, but they also had B. Spoiled for choice here with Bobo. But Dragon, he's on the lurk. He's got 2. Cove comes out over towards the top of tube, top of container rather. And speaking of orbs, we're going to see another one coming out from Watt here, who's on fire. He ends it with 4. Oh, Watt, the butcher, over towards that B site. You step into the store, he will cut you up. And now it's 7-4 in favor of 95X.
95X, 7-4. Bobo, a few buys still to come out. Of course, Hunter's Fury still to be deployed by Yafang. We've seen one, actually a few from Punda. And Yafang's maybe leaving it for a crucial round like this. It's the last round of the half. Bobo, they're on a bit of a back foot. They want to end it 7-5. They want to keep it as even as possible. Swirl, I've seen days where he's hit that flick. Noz does actually find the wall bang back though.
Yeah, with Swirl down in the early stages, this is going to be a tough ask here for 95X. The other 4 players do need to step up a little bit. Speaking of Hunter's Fury, there it comes from Yifang, but they've got the Viper's Pit as well. The only other ult available, Watt gets 1, but Yifang makes the Hunter's Fury work. It's a 2-for-2 trade, 3-on-1 situation, make it a 2-on-1 as Punda arrives and just halts Noz. Bit of a spray coming through here from Dragon, reveals his position. This Viper's Pit causing him a few issues. He tries to get around, but there are centimeters. He takes down Watt. Punda has the owl drone out, and Dragon breathes fire down the neck of the enemies here, and 95X just let that round slip through their fingers. Well done, Bobo. 7-5 is the scoreline as we head into the half.
7-5. The scoreline ideal for Bobo, because this is second map kit. This is their pick in 95X. They've got their pick already taken away from them. Oh, sorry, taken to them. It's Pearl. And of course, a very dominant scoreline that one was. This one looking a little bit closer. Noz and Crunchy starting to get involved in the mix. And of course, no longer killless. Nellery's got 2 there. He's got 7 assists too. He's a team player across the board here.
Yeah, Dragon just starting to activate a little bit. Maybe it took him a couple rounds just to get used to the play style of Harbor. But here come Bobo, looking rather strong here, but 95X still do have the lead. The jiggle peak over towards that B site. We'll spot a couple members over at the yellow container, and we'll actually suck out the 0 point there. So a bit of util down, but also a bit of damage dished out. Noz on the receiving end, but so is Dragon. 95X with the first frag.
Dragon with the first. Death. You can see Crunchy still firing off. He finds Minimize on the lurk over at B. They were trying to sell that with What's Wall, but What's over at this A site with the help of Mike. Wall goes up towards the screens to cover. A potential retake quickly. That's 3 to 4. Healthy almost here for a few players. Of course, Yifang almost one shot away from death. The bomb bot out to clear the corners. This is the ability you have with this Raze on this. You can throw the satchels, you can throw everything towards the front of the site to clear every single off angle. But Mike, he's gonna find the first on the Noz.
Yeah, they're just holding firm here at 95X. The spike is causing all kinds of issues for Bobo. They had to pull the trigger. It was a good hit, but unfortunately for them, 95X were more than ready for it. They just waited. They saw the wall go up. They turned their attention to where it needed to be. And have a look at the smiles on these boys' faces. Swirl, always forever vocal, but Minimize. That's what you love to see from your RGL. Not only barking the orders, but doing it happily as well, with a smile. Doesn't really feel like orders then, does it?
I imagine there's a bit of trash talk in there too. 95X. They love to go, a few choice words on Twitter. I believe they said El Bozo or who's Bozo, who's Bobo, something like that. There's a lot 95X have to say. Minimize a very vocal IGL, and you love to see it. It builds storylines like this. It builds character in our region where we like to see that clash of heads, that clash of rivalries, and especially the top of the table, we're seeing a clash on this map. Not so much the first, it was a little bit outclassed. Bobo starting to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, there are 4 members for Bobo over towards that B site. Little do they know, Noz, the only player on that side at the moment. Marshall in hand, gets tagged down to 30 HP. Needs to be very, very cautious, but the rotation is coming through. There it is, Dragon gets spotted over towards screens and gets removed promptly. Noz still alive, somehow, over towards the back of this A site, but the spike has gone down. 95X now in control. Not only in terms of scoreboard, but also time as well as manpower and a bit of hardware as well. But Noz tries to level things up. In fact, he does. Taking down Minimize. 30 HP, not a problem in the world, but 2 quick ones make it 3 quick ones for 95X. All but secure this round for them. It's off to Crunchy, who's a bit of a magician, but at this range, going up against that many members was always going to be a tough ask. And Swell, combining with his team, ends the round with 4. So money for the king. And another round for 95X.
Crunchy got the deke. Another shot landed. Could have been a kill. Could have been a kill. 95X though, it's what leading the charge this time, and it's always interesting to see that Viper always a hotly contested heavy fragger role on a map like Icebox, and it's definitely evident that Bobo, they're missing RD, they're missing that Viper, the difference maker in some of those rounds with the Viper's Pits, with the Snake's Bite, with all the util that Viper offers on post plants and retakes. It's hard to hold a site or even take a site without it.
So do they just pick this map knowing that they didn't have a Viper player? You kind of have to commend that, like, you really do. That's gutsy to back yourself. Especially when the replacement is Harbour. But Dragon, even though it took him a couple rounds to get there, he's definitely starting to make a name for himself. And there's the caster curse in full flight, Tony, as Mike takes him down. And now this A site gets blown wide open, and it's basically just 95X's playground. They are the bullies at the moment. You want to play on this swing, you're going to have to go through them.
I love that wall though from Mike. You can see, I believe he did bust it with a spike. Unfortunate there. Normally you want to pop the wall, I believe, after the spike play and put it up. He's played a bit of A-bots. Okay, sitting top of spawn. He takes out Noz and Yifang. Oh, sorry, Noz and his teammate Nellery. Yifang able to find one from spawn, but Swell going to clean it up. The interesting thing about that wall, I have to say, is it denies anybody from the wallbang towards that top site plant.
It's and it also makes you think as well, like, and that's why Sage is so good on this map, and that's why walls are so strong on this map, and that's why both teams, you know, Mike is playing it, Nellery's also playing it. We need to see a little bit more from Nellery. The man is 2-12 And that's probably the reason why Bobo is struggling at the moment. Yifeng, Noz, Crunchy, all playing out of their minds. Even Dragon, on an agent that we never see, is definitely stepping up to the plate and smashing him when he needs to. But 95X, they're just unassailable at the moment. 5 rounds ahead, and they're trying to get the picks off here. But we could have had a couple frags. 3 finally come out. They get 1, no 2. They answered back, and now 95X just start to light it up here. Bodies are hitting the floor over towards this A site, and Hunda just threading the needle there, removing Yifeng's head from his dome. Dragon, the last remaining member. Yes, it was a tough fire from the Minimize. They're going for the knife. All three of the boys rolling up with the knife, prison style, and they shank him down. 11-5 is the score. Oh, Tony. Don't know if that was BM or just a bit of fun. Maybe a little from column A and a little from column B.
It's a little bit of both. 95X, they're definitely showing that they want to get the top of the scoreboard. They want to get that top 2, as Minimize said it in that interview. Want to secure themselves that seed and really look to playoffs to really turn the Jets up. But of course, Bobo, it's to be said, Kit, they're a dead team at the moment. Of course, Yifeng and Nellery subbing in for the roster, so they can play out the rest of the year, play out the rest of the stage. Yeah. And, you know, it prop to them. They're still here, they're still playing, they're still fragging. 95X just well regimented, well approached, and of course, just well practiced all around the board.
95X are definitely putting in more work. It has to be said. Bobo, like you said, basically a dead team, but that's no excuse. There is still 15K first place prize to be had, so Bobo have as much to play for as anybody else. And 95X, if they keep playing like this, they might just snatch it away from them. I mean, 11-5 is insane. It's 3-3 in terms of manpower in this round here at the moment. The spike yet again is down, courtesy of 95X. We'll see the paint shells go around the corner. Crunchy just scopes that out. There's nobody there. Dragon up at the top takes down Punda, and the flank. There we actually want to see the Reckoning coming in here, so good work here, Bobo. Crunchy gets the job done. So nicely done, Dragon, with that ult. Gonna defuse. Bobo pick up the round.
Hey, that's the harbor diff right there. Reckoning. Absolutely concussed there. No way he won that 1v1 against Crunchy.
Every couple rounds, he's all right.
Yeah. Bobo, they get the 6, and they keep on the trot. They've got a few ultimates, though, as well to work with. Kit, Showstopper, Hunter's Fury, and the Blade. So we can get a little bit of a spicy, aggressive Bobo this round. And, well, for 95X, a round that they're not too shabby to lose. But preferably they want to win it. They want to close this one out in quick succession and, well, put a 1 against the L column here for Bobo.
Swell, just doing swell things. Hard aggression over towards that A side, but Noz, they're not playing anti-Jet, let's say. Noz, which gets taken down out of the air, and that's where Jet is her strongest, but on the ground she's a sitting duck. And Bobo lose 2 members in quick succession. Noz and the rather impressive on Icebox so far, Crunchy.
And you can see it comes from 95X to A, and Nellery, he's caught out on the arm drone, fragmented up. He misses the sage wall. You hate to see it. Ooh. Shot from what, though? Takes out Dragon on the flank. Good catch there from our observer, Temporal. He's been killing it so far, Kid, I have to say. Some good camera angles and some good kills being caught that we wouldn't quite expect to see. Yifeng is going to snipe out Swirl. Minimize, though, to take out Nellery on the raft to walk in. Well, Yifeng's trying to keep a hold of that operator. He knows that what is going to be on this flank needs to hit that shot, doesn't. It's 12, it's match, it's series point for 95X.
Well, I know that it was an interesting off week, Tony, for OCE Valorant, it must be said, but I didn't think Bobo would be going down like this. You know, they have been comfortably, well, in the first map at least, comfortably beaten by 95X, who are just going from strength to strength, as a lot of the teams in this region are. Bobo, unfortunately, even though they're on the decline, they are still a class team made up of class players. Nellery is no slouch. He's been around this game since its inception. Yifeng can play on whatever team he wants, basically. You know, these guys know how to play. That's my point. And 95X are just outclassing them.
I have to say 95X definitely have put the difference in the hours put into the practice. Nellery getting caught to the other side of that wall. Dragon, he's going to take out Minimize. And you can see the res is actually going to be held. It's on the Viper's pit, able to find him, but minimizes out in the open, unfortunately. Dragon is going to take him out. Swell's trying to wrap up through Kitchen. A few members falling here for 95X, and this starts to get dangerous. They still have that Viper's pit up, thankfully. They do have the toxic screen as well to boot. And it's going to be hard right now to clear these angles. They are going to check for Punda and Snowman. And Noz, he's wrapped around. He expects to know exactly where what is. And he will find the straight headshot. And it is going to be a tap onto the defuse. A shock dart. One more, maybe two. For good measure. But Punda, he sprays it down for recon.
That's how you do it. If you're going to win, Tony, you win in style. And well done. A clean 2-0 against the formerly undefeated Bobo. It is 95X. And they are happy campers. Mike, we can't see him, but I can guarantee you he's smiling. Minimize. Have a look at him. He's so happy. So happy. And Tony, you know what? Why wouldn't you be? You just knocked off the champs.
You did. You've dethroned the kings of Oceania for the moment. Of course, 4 and now 1 to the board for Bobo. And another win on the board, 4-1 themselves. This actually puts them at tied contention. Both rosters now at that 4-1 mark. This is now going to be an interesting top of the table. And I have to say 95X definitely have that X factor when it came to that game. Huge performance from the individuals here. Now, overall as a team, look like a well-oiled machine in that game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tony, this tournament is starting to shape up like, look, I'm not a wrestling fan, but I know that they hang a briefcase full of money from the roof, and everybody just tries to climb up a ladder to grab it, and all of a sudden, that is exactly what this tournament is shaping up to be. Look at the plays coming out here. What just supreme control of that tube over towards that B site. And 95X, they've got one hand on that briefcase because Bobo, they were top of that ladder for a very, very long team and they've just been thrown off.
But I believed in Noz in that 1v1 there. He just unfortunately checked the wrong angle. He second-guessed himself. And what there? I don't know how he lives, but of course, 95X overall showing huge signs of life. Of course, Bobo.
This dude.
This was rough. Yeah, Dragon even sneaking in the Viper's pit. Huge push there onto Punda. Takes him out, showing that, you know, Harbor can be a duelist, I guess, playing him a little bit more aggressively than most would. And, well, Bobo, they didn't win the game, but they definitely won our hearts with the Harbor pick.
They definitely did. They made history, that's for sure. I believe the only Harbor pick in this tournament so far, and it may be the last. We'll just have to wait and see. But have a look at this stat. I mean, Crunchy, you know what? It doesn't show it on here, but the way he was maneuvering across this map with those satchel packs, he was like a fly that you just couldn't swat out of the air. And when you least expected it, he would land on you, except instead of him, it was just a rain of bullets. And then what on the side of 95X on the Viper? 289 ACS and just supreme utility placement, and that's why 95X got over the line. I mean, you have to commend Bobo a little bit, knowing that RD, their Viper, was completely out. They still picked Icebox, knowing that they didn't have a Viper player. I mean, you know what? I'm all for that. I tip my hat to you. Well done.
I was maybe expecting Crunchy on the Viper. We've seen him play it, I believe, previously, when they were in the region. He loved to play that Viper and that Omen, but of course, we didn't get to see it out of Crunchy. We saw the Duelist come in and come on out. He was going on his villain arc, Noz 2 on the Jet, who I believe we've actually seen him play internationally on the APAC stage, so it's interesting to see Jet come out there from Noz, but of course, 95X, a huge win overall.
Yes, well done. And you know what to be a fly on the wall inside that Discord at the moment. We can't be that, but we do have the next best thing. We have Punda on the line. And wow, I tell you what, Punda, my man, congratulations, dude. Very, very nicely done there. Well deserved.
Thank you very much. It was a good win.
Yeah, fair enough, dude. Fair enough. I guess for you, you know, you're playing around so many star players. You know, do you often find it's difficult for you to feel like you're in a position that can pull off the big plays? You know, you've got guys doing insane things left, right, and center. You've got Swirl that is just absolutely unstoppable. When you're ever around that, do you find yourself a little bit humbled?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes Swell just does Swell things, especially with him on Jet. He can take over a game just like so quickly, which, I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm happy if Swell wants to drop 30. I can sit back and get carried. But I think at the same time, like, we all have our big moments. Specifically, like, Lewis can just lock down a site with ease, especially when Swell's on the other side. And I think we all have our moments to win out the game.
Yeah, you guys definitely had all your moments there, and of course a little bit of an interesting one as well. Clearly seen that you guys have been putting the work in on Pearl. I have to say that attacking side looked absolutely almost flawless, I have to say. And then we went to Icebox, and it was a little bit of an interesting thing, locked in by Dragon. How did you feel going against the first Harbor in this game?
Yeah, funnily enough, we actually thought he might lock Harbor. We're like, oh, they're going to run a Harbor or something, and he ended up doing so. So, yeah, it was interesting to verse, I guess, but it didn't feel like that much of a threat, really.
Well, I mean, if you are any sort of fan of OCE Valorant in this region, you know it's been a bit of a spicy week for the scene. You know, we have 1 week off, and it's almost like the rapture hits the scene. You guys, though, you were basically unaffected. How have you been dealing with all of this noise that's been going on for the past week or so?
Yeah, I mean, the scene has been quite interesting right now. Lots of players are getting overseas offers, and lots of teams are breaking up or like getting new players because of that. I think us just staying as our 5 it's really just benefited us. We stay as our core 5. Everyone's like new teams, losing old strats. So we've just been calm throughout it.
Well, that's it. You guys, well, you've got a job to do. You've definitely put your head down. And you know what? The grind has paid off, my man. Congratulations on taking down the champs, Bobo, and best of luck for the rest of the tourney.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you so much, Punda, and thank you to 95X for giving us that insight. And I'll tell you what, big shout out to the production crew here for making all of this happen behind the scenes as well. Player cams, I'm absolutely loving it, Tony.
Yeah, we get to see the smiles on the dials. We get to see maybe tilt. Didn't actually affect either team in that one. It was very, very interesting to see. Of course, both teams very much head in the game, smiles on their dials, having a bit of fun with it at the end of the day. And a very strong game from 95X overall, 2-0, and now top of the standings, tied for first.
Tied for first against the team that they just knocked off. The future is bright for 95X, and you know what, with the dissolution of Bobo, it's bright for a lot of teams, Tony, that are currently tied for that position. So stay tuned and see how that unfolds, but also stay tuned because we're going to be taking a very, very short break. We are but halfway through the Valorant for this evening. We have got another match coming up after this. You do not want to miss it. It is Next Gen, the team formerly known as BFG, going up against the Cooper Troopers, and we're going to be bringing that to you, so don't go too far. See you then.
Don't stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. The shooting star leaping through the sky.
Chance. You keep her alive. Save her. You can save her.
If you come this far, then you know it's out there.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
I'm that guy's Energy, joined by the always excellent Kitfox as we continue our review of The Last of Us, now streaming on Neon. And this week we are doing episodes 4 and 5. Tim.
Listen, it was one of those episodes where it knitted everything together.
Save her, you can save her.
Now with episode 4, we are finally introduced to Aotearoa's very own Melanie Linsky in the role of Kathleen, leader of the Resistance. Now she has taken over a quarantine zone where Joel and Ellie have been ambushed, and she asks the pertinent question, that question being, Tim,
where is he? Where's Henry?
Where's Henry?
Is that Henry?
Where is he?
Is that Henry over there?
Where is he?
It becomes a very important question throughout the episode, not only during the battle that Joel and Ellie take place in, but also the introduction of Kathleen herself as she kind of keeps asking it and takes some very lethal measures to get the answer for it.
She's ruthless. She's kind but yet ruthless, and I like that.
And then that ends up tying into episode 5, which is we finally see this kind of mini flashback as to who is Henry, why is Henry, and also who is Sam. And now with that, it leads down to almost the ultimate showdown between Kathleen and the Resistance and Joel and Ellie.
It finally comes to fruition. Yeah. And that's the first time we see people versus people here. There's so many different enemies in this world, but when push comes to shove and we need food, we need all these things, it is a very, very cutthroat world that they live in.
You're right, a lot of the fights that we've seen so far have kind of almost been personal in a way. It was Joel versus that one Fedra guard in episode 1, and then with Bill and Frank it was like 2 of them versus maybe 4 bandits, but now it's like Joel and Ellie versus like 5 dudes. And Joel's having to step into that violence again. It's such a funny sensation for him because he tries to avoid it. Just keeps getting pulled back in. Let's look at our top moments for episode 4 and 5. Tim.
For 4, for me, just the interaction between Joel and Ellie and how she's still a kid, but she's not a kid.
Episode 5.
It has to be the bloater.
The bloater?
Okay, it has to be the...
Yeah.
It just comes out there. Yeah, and you look at it and you just think, wow.
That's going to cause some trouble.
Yeah.
So that's been our review of episodes 4 and 5 for The Last of Us, now streaming on Neon. You can grab yourself a free 7-day trial by signing up at neontv.co.nz. As always, I have been that guy's Energy, joined by the always excellent Kitfox. Until next time, ka kite.
Yeah, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the VALORANT Challenges Oceania, Week 4, Day number 1. My name is Kitfox. Joining me is TwoTapTony and TwoTap, my man. We just saw 95X knock off the champions, Bobo.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, I have to say. Not what I was expecting out of Bobo. Of course, we saw some crazy picks, we saw some crazy swap-ups. Nothing really went Bobo's way, unfortunately. 95X, just a little bit more practiced and regimented there. But, of course, Bobo, props to them for showing up, props to them for putting on a show. Now we go to our next game, Next Gen versus Cooper Troopers. Of course, the former BFG roster, now under the Next Gen title. And it's an interesting one, kid.
Yes, they are going up against the Cooper Troopers. Now, as we have a look at this lineup, the Cooper Troopers are struggling a little bit. They have yet to chain a few wins together on the board. They'll be looking to up their tally just a little bit, but here are the lads. Vex, Noir, Lomu, Tam, and Ryu, loving the haircut, but we'll have to wait and see what these lads can do. They haven't exactly had the best VALORANT challenges, that's for sure, but there is still quite a few weeks to be played, and they're going up against one hell of a team who, we spoke a little bit about earlier on, Tony, about you can be as good in the server, but you also need to be a personality, which is what their opponents, the team formerly known as BFG Next Gen, have got.
As we take a look at the Next Gen roster for you, McKinley, Biggie, Cheese, Feta, August, and Sinaway. Or Notion, of course. It's interesting to see that they've gone for this Next Gen name. I would have preferred Dairy Farmers. You've got Biggie Cheese, you've got Feta,
right?
Cheese Boys right there. It's laid in stone, of course, as well with their recent pickup. Milky won't be playing, of course, this evening. We'll have August, but it just makes sense, you know?
It does make sense.
It just rolls off.
And all the lads here, good to see them serious about this as well, Tony. Every single one of them rolling out here with a camera.
August?
And yeah, August, love the desktop, but there's still a couple of minutes for him to play. And Ryu, no, stop it. Have a look at these lads. Vex, ready to play as well. Lomu, loving the brick wall aesthetic as well. Lomu, that brick wall aesthetic. I used to have a room exactly like that, Tony. So, you know what? My heart is with the man coming into this game.
As did I, kid. It's a college dorm room, that's for sure. Yeah. But of course, we have to, look at these teams and look at them on paper, and it's going to be an interesting one. Cooper Troopers currently, at that 0-4 mark, yet to put a win on the board, but maybe looking to upset, I guess, one of the teams that's looking to upset the standings themselves at the moment. Next Gen, of course, currently 1-3, but they've played some close maps. Of course, we saw 2 weeks ago, they played a very, very close series against 95X, who just came out on top just before. And of course, if you're putting up close numbers against a team like 95X, who's at the top right now, definitely look at Next Gen to be the heavy favorites going into this one.
Yeah, I don't think the numbers on paper do a team like Next Gen justice, that's for sure. They have definitely had some close calls. Probably should be a little bit different. Maybe a 2 in that win column would be good. But when you put these two Titans head to head here, it really is a one hell of a sight. And McKinley, the man, the myth, the legend, talks a lot of smack, but can back it up as well, which is what you love to see. Real Jason Ackermanis about him. And now you can see Vex on the side of the Cooper Troopers. Very, very close on the heels of McKinley there in terms of stats, Tony.
Yeah, I have to say, very, very neck and neck. And, well, Vex, a heavy performer for this Cooper Troopers side. Of course, Ibrocky not here this evening, unfortunately. We did have Ibrocky against McKinley, a battle of the IGLs, I believe. Ibrocky calling for this Cooper Troopers roster. But, of course, Vex, a very, very solid paper on paper, but he's going up against a very vocal player in McKinley.
Yeah, I do like Ibrocky as well. I do love anybody that plays a damn good KO, but you know who I also love? McKinley. This man he's an entertainer, that's for sure. We were fortunate enough to catch up with him during the week for, I believe, a second time throughout this tournament, just to get his thoughts.
Yeah, I just moved house to get the better ping just for Valorant, so I'm actually sitting on a ladder. I mean, the ladder buff is real, so I'll be tapping heads, it's fine. I'll be gaming like this. This is how I game now. My IGN's McKinley. I'm currently playing in the VCO Oceania. Yeah, we've been finding the split okay. I mean, we've got it looks like a bad record, but I'm not too fussed about it because top 6 make it through, and we're in the stages where we're making some roster changes. Pretty much August has decided to leave the team. He was shit anyway, so we're going to kick him anyway, so thank God he's gone. I guess one thing that we've been doing good is just solidifying our comms, solidifying our teamwork, opening our map pool, pracking, putting in a lot of time with our goated coach. I'd say that we're putting in probably one of the highest, amount of hours compared to any other team in Split. So we're definitely trying our best, and we're hoping that we can come out on top with it.
The sentry turret August taps the site. Will they be baited into a swing? They both line up for him. Nice work from August.
Yeah, no, Bind is one of our best maps, and I mean every team knows it. There's no reason for us to hide it. We have a really high win percentage on attack, and if you do take the momentum on attack, then it is really easy to take out the entire map. I guess it's always been one of our strengths because it does put us all in a lot of comfort agents, and I guess with my IGLing style, it also works. It's one of those maps where it's just easy for me to IGL and for my team to understand. We're able to sort of play a lot more fluidly than perhaps some other maps that we maybe need some more practice on. No, but I'm telling you right now, I mean, everyone knows this. Ascent has got to be like one of the maps in the game. That map they need to get rid of that map. They should have taken Breeze and Ascent off, and I would have guaranteed you that we would have won the tourney. Guarantee you. I'm just going to say, we're a team that tries 110%. As long as you give it your all and you have fun, then you know what? I'd like to be surprised. I'd like to have a challenge, but we're hoping that we're going to come out on top.
I love McKinley. That was absolutely incredible. A little bit of cope in there from him about some of the maps, but interesting for him to talk about Bind, considering that now that map is no longer in the pool, Tony. I don't know, maybe they've lost a little bit of a crutch, but we'll have to wait and see. If we do get the opportunity to chat to him later, God, I'd love to ask that question.
Yeah, of course, as you speak about maps, though, we do have our vetoes already, so we'll quickly check out where we are going. Koopa Troopers versus Next Gen. Icebox taken immediately out of the pool. Very, very smart from the Koopa Troopers. Next Gen, though, of course, going to be taking away Haven. They know the Koopa Troopers play that map. Of course, Bind not here, and unfortunately, neither is Breeze. So we're going to be seeing Koopa Troopers pick up Lotus, the first Lotus pick of the tournament kit. Of course, it's in, and it's in full effect. Fracture going to be picked up by Next Gen. A very, very smart call. They went very close in their game against 95X. You got to respect the Fracture pick. Split, Ascent being taken out, and then Pearl going to be our decider. This is a scary last two maps if you're a team like Koopa Troopers.
Lots of duels on Lotus as well, which is interesting considering Koopa Troopers are yet to pick up a dub. On a map like Lotus, it is it's chaotic to say the least. And because, I don't know, I almost feel like it should be a 7-player map or something like that. It's so broad. It's huge. It's massive. And like I said, so many laneways to take duels. Considering the Koopa Troopers haven't exactly been the best in that department, it's interesting that they pick a map like this against a team as hot as Next Gen.
Yeah, and of course, you spoke about taking a lot of duels. I look to Vex to be the difference maker here for this Koopa Trooper side. Of course, you don't have superhero Ibrocky here to save you. You've got your coach in, but of course, we need to see some big numbers from Koopa Troopers. Next Gen, feeling very, very confident, I'd have to say. Lotus, as you said, Kit, one of those maps is very open to the duels. We'll see a lot of fights happen over towards that A side of the map where you can open the door, or you can look to walk it down through the middle lane. B, of course, we'll expect to see a Killjoy, I feel, in the rotation for both these teams. Killjoy, very, very good at taking that B side, very good at locking it down, because that lockdown, it covers more than just the B side. It covers outside of it too on the laneways.
It does. I mean, like, this map it's going to deliver in terms of entertainment, that's for sure. In terms of strategic execution, I'd be interested to see how the Koopa Troopers, considering it is their map pick, I'd love to see how they roll out. August, still yet to be seen at his PC. That's alarming. The Next Gen. And there we go. Biggie Cheese and Feta, they're brothers, and I can see the resemblance there, Tony. They've got that hairdo for sure.
Yeah, they could be twins. I feel they've got to be close to twins there. Of course, you love to see the Cheese brothers there. But of course, this is going to be an interesting one, Kit. Lotus being our first pick here, picked by KT with a stand-in this evening for Ibrocky. Their coach, of course, standing in for Ibrocky. And I don't know, this is a very worrying sight for a team like Koopa Troopers.
Maybe they've had this card up their sleeve for quite some time, Tony. We have known that Bind would be taken away as well as Breeze, and we did know that eventually Split and Lotus would be coming in as well. So maybe the Koopa Troopers have been, they've just been biding their time this whole time. They're like that Metapod that just keeps using Harden, and then before you know it, you can't take him out because they're just so well ingrained. I mean, maybe the KT lads are gonna pull something out of the barrel here. We'll have to wait and see. But on paper, I'd have to back Next Gen. As we take a look at the vetoes here, we will see August going to be locking in the breach, which we've seen him do a couple times, especially on a map like Haven. But on Lotus, there's a bit of potential for breach as well, and Tam recognizes that on the side of the Koopa Troopers too.
Yeah, I love both teams locking in the breach here. Very much, as we said, a corridor-heavy map. And, well, who's good at clearing corridors? None other than the breach. Fault lines, flashes, aftershock, everything you could ever want to throw that way. And I also want to isolate the pick from McKinley here on the Sky. There's no really bread and butter sentinel here for the side of Next Gen. And, well, a Sky's an interesting pick, especially with how corridor heavy these maps are. You're going to be flashing your teammates more than you're flashing the enemy, I feel.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, considering this is the first time that we have seen Lotus teams would have been putting in, look, undoubtedly some hours knowing that this would eventually be coming into the map pool. So the Koopa Troopers, maybe they're going to surprise us here. Maybe they're going to catch Next Gen napping because, I don't know, Next Gen, we know that they were strong on Bind. Now that's taken away from them. They are on fresh territory here. A brand new battlefield of Lotus to go up against the Koopa Troopers. Map 1 of this best of 3. And already you can see fire being exchanged over towards that A side, TwoTap.
Yeah, expected to see with, of course, if you've played it in ranks, you've played it in a few unrated games as well. You know that A's where they want to take the fight. It's a little bit more favored towards that side of the map. Is Ryu able to take August on the other side of Viper Wall? And he's looking to hold it down with that screen. Doesn't have any toxins left to put up now. Has about 40 in the chamber. Biggie Cheese is going to dispatch Tam, but the spike almost looked to be planted for a second here. Quick flank coming in. Better will be taken out by more. But a quick trade from Biggie Cheese, who's on for 4. And that's the spike down. And he's looking for the fight to Ryu to put the nail in the coffin in this round. But Ryu, he bounces back. He's able to find that first. In a way, McKinley are going to be playing on top of each other. They have to. They can't give Ryu 1v1s. He's going to go for the swing. Sinaway going for the taps, and he will find it with the classic at long range. He's going to trade it out for a Ghost. Next Gen almost lose that round.
I love how McKinley was just full baiting him out there as well. Like, McKinley just sat behind the box and just let his teammate do the work. You love to see it. He would have taken the glory if it went sideways, but regardless, it is going to be the pistol round going over to Next Gen. So already heavy pressure over towards that A site. And we can see the door getting a workout straight away, Tony. And that's what makes this map interesting, the revolving door in the middle there. Let's see if it will be utilized yet again, but this time the Koopa Troopers shaping up over towards the B side.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing you note. This is the first time we've had revolving doors in, not a breakable door either, like the ones on Ascent that all these teams loathe to play. Is going to be an attempted flick there from Feta, but of course can rendezvous to safety. Chamber, an interesting pick, as we said, of course, a very, very weak pick for a few players, but if you make it work, you make it work. Pulls out the headhunter, and he's looking for a head. He's found one on a Vex, and all of a sudden, KT drop in numbers to the guns here on the eco of Next Gen. And he's going to be fed for 3, charging that ultimate up, and just another day in paradise here for the boys. McKinley saying, good job, but we got to look to this third round.
Where's August? Hashtag where is August, honestly. Deliberately not showing himself is the call that we're getting coming through. At least he's got the camera on, Tony, which is more that can be said for some of the other players here. Come on, Tam, lift your game. Nah, I'm just kidding. Hey, Next Gen, though, they're lifting their game. They're doing fantastic. And, you know, long gone are the days where the second round, if you won the pistol, Tony, you would see a full Spectre buy. Teams opting for those Bulldogs more and more. And Next Gen, you can see 3 of them on the board there. It's what got them that round. But Koopa Troopers on the buy. And McKinley feels the wrath instantaneously. Ryu there dishing out the damage as well. Sinaway answers back. The swing again, not good. Sinaway still holding firm, so low. Throws out the snake bite as well. And it's all action heading over towards the, well, the A side of the map here. Spike's still in the hands of the Koopa Troopers, but it's a 3-on-3. Sinaway extremely low. He's going to push out of this smoke. Needs to be careful. The owl drone taken down. This smoke is going to dissipate any second now. They hold mouse one time straight through. He swings out. Sinaway gets 3. Finally taken down by Lomu. So it's a 2-on-2. And Feta on the receiving end of some damage. The brothers still alive.
And the Cheese brothers going to be going tit for tat with Lomu and Nor as they rotate over towards the C side. Of course, there's 3 sites to take, but B, not the greatest one to take. It's very open and very prone to swings from every single corridor. Recon goes towards the link position. Here's the tap onto the spike plan. Biggie Cheese is just going to hold it and go for the swing. Nor trying to trade it out, but he can't. Biggie Cheese has a bulldog. He has a superior gun, and he has the round for next gen. And you can see Kit. A is where they want to play. A is the fight to take, and huge call from Sinaway to sit back in that corridor, sit on top of that smoke, and I was surprised he got away with a third.
Yeah, I mean, to be on less than 20 HP and walk away with that third frag at least. The first 2 was just great gunplay. The third one was a steal, and he knows that too. So well done, next gen. They take the buy away from the Koopa Troopers, and now they can sit themselves in a very good position here. You know, even though the Koopa Troopers picked this map, it looks like next gen are just winning the duels. And on a map like this, like we said, it was a gutsy pick for Koopa Troopers to pick this, considering just how duel-centric this is. But this time, over towards the midsection, this is where you two can come into play a bit more. The swing goes in for McKinley, gets 1, in goes Feta, Tam on the receiving end of that one, so 2 frags going the way of the next gen gaming, lads, for the Paranoia and the Sky Util coming out. That Trailblazer doing work. Now finally, first plant going over towards the C site, courtesy of Lomu.
Yeah, and I can now see why McKinley's opted for the Sky. You can play aggressive over towards that B corridor, shut down anything that KT are trying to set up early on, and, well, you can flash for your teammates, you can set up perfectly. Now the retake Sinaway, the poison orb over towards the spawn side. Unfortunately, it doesn't cover quite all the that he probably wants. Sinaway is going to take the fight front and center. Roy over towards Waterfall. He's trying to find a shot, stray one onto McKinley, and potential second lineup on a Sinaway, but he's aiming a bit too high, and Sinaway is able to dodge it. Diffused in plenty of time. Don't start that here. McKinley says it's 4-0 start here for next gen.
Yeah, people underestimate, or at least they may have forgotten for a while, just how powerful the Sky guiding light is as a utility and information gatherer. Not only does it blind your opponent, but it also reveals if they're there or not. You know, that different audio cue is just as good as, you know, a fade orb or even a Sova dart. So well done there for McKinley. He definitely knows his way inside and out of this agent, and inside and out of this map. Next gen just starting to style over Koopa Troopers on their map pick here. KT, yes, they struggled, they lost their buy. Now they're able to buy back into it. Let's see what they got. Here.
Let's see what they got as they're looking to open the door. Trip is going to be triggered. Of course, taken out immediately. So a slow field put in play. Fed up. He's been cautious, and a shot doesn't quite hit. The flake though from Sinaway is able to find Tam. That's a lot of util. Take it out. Noah still looking for this flank. McKinley and Biggie Cheese now on it. Norgus here to help them, because of course there's so many angles, there's so many duels you have to take in that A site position, and it's up to Lomu, it's up to Ryu. Lomu looking to walk through this smoke. It is going to be an aftershock toss through, guiding light as well. McKinley to find it, and August gets a stray one through the smoke.
Yeah, the next gen lads just starting to run away with this one. 5-zip Koopa Troopers, you know, yet to put a round on the board, and oh, look at it, just nice and relaxed. The lads, the brothers, and then McKinley just talking away. Biggie Cheese throwing in his 2 cents as well. Meanwhile, Vex says, boys, we need to lift. Noir had a very good sniff that round as well, but the Koopa Troopers, they just need to gel a little bit better. Lots of players are playing good individually, Tony, but the team cohesion is just not there.
Yeah, it's, I have to say, August, a good round from him, showing, well, McKinley, how dare you talk trash. Of course, still has to play with him. It's a bit of an interesting dynamic. You know, McKinley talking all that good on the interview, but, you know, in the server, they're still friends. They're still teammates at the end of the day. And, of course, KT's best chance would be this round. They've got a lockdown. They've got the From the Shadows, Hunter's Fury, and the Blade's already popped by Vex. They just need to find their entry into the site, and it might be A. Next gen have given it up completely. Fault line goes across. Nobody tagged. They have to clear tree, though. They have to clear that door, and Well, for the moment, KT, they've got a free site for the taking, and they're so hesitant to play this spike.
Aftershock actually finds a kill, but full blind, and in goes the next gen lads. They just walk in off the back of that U-turn, but they're not checking the crossfire. Ryu is there, but McKinley shuts him down. And that brilliance is what I'm talking about. McKinley, he's fired up right now, but Ryu, fantastic. Oh, and the spray as well. This is what I like, a bit of personality about the man. So well done, 6 in a row now, and next gen just starting to style on KT a bit too much here.
Don't even start that shit here, mate.
And that's a step ladder diff. I have to say, interesting voice line there from Sky. Of course, step ladder diff. McKinley's playing sitting on a step ladder. I believe he's just moved. He's had to readjust his setup. He's had to readjust you know, everything right now, and but still showing up big here for the side of next gen. Currently 5-1, 7 assists to the name with that guiding light. As you said, a vital tool in some of these fights. And Cooper Troopers need to call a pause right now. They need to work out what's going wrong. And it's a lot about the gunfights. I wouldn't say their util's lacking. They're clearing angles. They're fault lining good, but they're just losing a few of these gunfights. They really shouldn't be.
Yeah, every time next gen go for the swing, Cooper Troopers are losing, and that's something they need to iron out. Like you said, their util placement is good. The breach fault lines are crisp. The aftershocks are clearing corners. They're hitting their sights with good speed as well. You know, we saw Ryu there with a fantastic crossfire. If they can get into positions like that, they can almost get rounds over next gen, which is what we saw. But they need a lot more of that. Next gen just playing so much better. And, you know, McKinley is on fire, but Sinaway too is dominating. 9-3. He's unstoppable, yet to use the Viper's pick as well. And Cooper Troopers, yeah, they are bleeding, so they needed to call that tack to apply a bandage.
Yeah, they need to rally themselves a little bit. Well, you got Coach Tam in the server, so he's not, of course, taking a back foot. He's actually living it and breathing it. Currently 1-6. One away from the Rolling Thunder, though, could be a great ultimate to deploy. August does have his online, and Feder again going for this aggressive up pick. He doesn't have to rendezvous. He's got the safety of McKinley, but McKinley's been taken out. Feder's still taking this fight with the Headhunter and the door, and Ryu looking to walk through, trying to find some shots onto a stray player. Rendezvous, and a quick snap of the fingers, and another player falls for KT.
Well, there's only 2 of them remaining. They have the spike. They've both got ults, but they don't have any manpower. Noir doesn't even have a gun, I don't think. This is going to be a tough ask, but good damage going the way of August. Fault line out in retaliation, but positions have now been revealed for the Cooper Troopers, and all the angles just being held here by Next Gen. KT have no idea where they are. They're still back in their spawn. Finally, they shape up over towards the A side. There is dark cover there. Biggie Cheese or Paranoia gonna catch out Noir, but he can't thread it. What is that? Oh, Biggie Cheese with a rare whiff. He gets one. He probably should have had more. Lomu does the rest. He's still alive. Lomu, he's hunting, but Feder is there with the operator. 7th round in a row for Next Gen.
And it's getting very, very scary. First time we see Lotus in... Well, first time we see Next Gen at a flawless scoreline to start this one off. Normally teams find at least a Hail Mary round before, you know, the team that's winning starts to take the advantage back and really rolls through the rest of the half. But KT, they've yet to find one. They've got all the tools to work with. Again, we've got the lockdown, we've got the Rolling Thunder now, we've got the Hunter's Fury. They just need to coordinate them together and hit a side.
Unfortunately, coordination hasn't really been their strong suit, but they do reveal McKinley over towards the back of the mound. As they shape up towards the C site, you can see the rotation coming through gravel now from Biggie Cheese, and you've got Chamber holding the mid as well. So Feder may actually catch the Omen out here, has a shot, and I believe he missed it. So that was what you heard at the back there. Now we'll see the lockdown initiated, and here go the Cooper Troopers. They're hitting A hard. C, sorry.
They're looking to hit C, and that lockdown gives them all the space. Look at how wide this ult covers. You can see that McKinley's detained, Sinaway's detained, and they're all the way in the safety of spawn. Noi can just walk up, try to take these fights against both these players, but unfortunately, that detain doesn't last for all too long. And both those players are safe, but KT, they flipped the switch. They had so much presence over towards C, but it's A. their final beck and call. 3 players here for next gen, and this might be a round that KT could look to win.
Right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Noir holding a really good cross as well. And although Sinaway just manages to get by him. So a little bit of a timing error there. And Noir just going to be left up the creek without a paddle. The Paranoia catches 2 members for next gen. Kai and the Trailblazer. There's the Rolling Thunder though. And here come the lads catching everybody on the side of next gen. The counter Rolling Thunder goes in. Sinaway with the opening frag. We can see the Viper's Pit going in and the fault line throwing up as well. And now here come next gen, but the Cooper Troopers hold firm. Vex gets one. Sinaway is hunting though. It's all up to him. He's got 2 more members to take down. The Spike is going to do its thing regardless. And the Cooper Troopers, it cost them everything they had, Tony, but they get around on the board.
Hey, sometimes you have to throw everything around to get it on the board, and it's all about finding that first. KT, they've picked it up 1-7, and you can see a lot is going on, a lot of discussion between Vex and Noah right now. McKinley still hard at work, talking to the boys. You know what? We drop around. It's all right. Lotus still very much in their favor. And you can see that KT, that round, that puts them back in a healthy position, but a lot of ultimates were burned. We saw the lockdown, we saw the Hunter's Fury. A lot went into that, and KT, of course, they're going to need a lot more to get these last few across the board.
Yeah, they're still, even knowing that there is a tour de force at Mound, they were still thinking about peaking it there. So that's the smartest thing that Cooper Troopers have done for quite some time, is decide against aggression over there. Oh, but a big guiding light from McKinley just around the corner. Straight up the guts at mid, just denies that push a little bit. And have a look at Feder. He's on the prowl. He's going to get one. Oh, probably could have had a collapse there. Makes it work regardless, but Cops of Paranoia needs to be careful. Just very, very close to the rendezvous. He will survive. Meanwhile, action over towards the A site, and Next Gen are taking this fight squarely to the doorstep of the Cooper Troopers. But it may just be their downfall. They lose Feder.
Yeah, they lost Feder, but I guess this is kind of how you have to play the defense side if you're Next Gen, especially on this map of Lotus. It's very prone to aim fights, very prone to gun play. And you can see now just left to Lomu 1v3.
30 seconds
Does have
left.
the spike. He's got a Hunter's Fury, but he's got 30 seconds to work with. Biggie Cheese and Sinaway have that cover absolutely crossed right now. Lomu walks out. It's going to be the first, but no second. No double up for Lomu. It is going to be the 8th round to Next Gen, and I have to say, again, it's the A fight main that just seems to be working so well. You see Next Gen as well. They're flashing for each other, kid. It's not just gunfights. It's McKinley throwing those guiding lights. It's Biggie Cheese throwing the Paranoia, and then they're just taking it from there. KT fully blind. They can't do anything about it.
It's amazing how Next Gen are making every single aspect of their gameplay just look scary. Like you said, it's not necessarily the sight of them that is causing problems for KT. You know, it's one well-placed utility. It's one good guiding light. It is one fantastic fault line. There's another example of it, just blinding and delaying the push here for Cooper Troopers. Look how spread out they are. McKinley says, that's the easiest kill of my life.
Yeah, very, very quick one. Backs off. Unfortunately, can't heal himself. That's, you know, the difference between Sage to Sky. And of course, Sage gets the ability to heal themselves. And oh, here, still for Biggie Cheese. He spots a shoulder. Biggie Cheese spots his shoulder too. Omen v Omen. Feder as well. On a, I have to say, an aggressive angle with the off, but does have the rendezvous to teleport out. Will pop the shot. And immediately, he's there to take another rendezvous towards the link position towards the vent. Sinaway now needs to be a little bit careful. The hit for Cooper Troopers might go towards the C site.
Yeah, the world is their oyster here at the moment. That B site, very hard to take. And you can see Feder with an operator there. Oh, the swing from Sinaway. Holds firm, breaks down Lomu. Pam manages to sneak across, however, needs to be careful of that. Now at close range,
30 seconds left.
Sam looked threatening, but Sinaway with that Vandal is basically going to win that every single time. Lots of noise being made now. Noir gets checked by Feder. And Next Gen chain together another round. They pick up their 9th and they start to run away with this one. We've still got a couple rounds left in this half, Tony, and Next Gen are already pushing at double digits.
Yeah, pushing double digits, and well, a almost flawless run here on Lotus from Next Gen. And of course, this is KT's pick. This is Worrying signs already in this series. We're only 10 rounds into this one, and Next Gen, they have the majority of them. KT, they had to burn so many ultimates just to get the one. It's kind of how they've been winning a few of the rounds in some of their games. They have to throw so much just for it to stick. Vex, he sticks a shot straight to the dome. A Feta, though.
Okay, you've got my attention all of a sudden. Next Gen, one player down. Great work there from Vex. A dash through, bit of swirl about his play there. Now they push out, and Sinaway, just a little bit of a whiff there, only gets one, and then he does the rest. Noir with the swing, Biggie Cheese just holding those angles. McKinley also doing exactly the same thing, just waiting for the swings to come out from the Cooper Troopers. They managed to get the spike down, Lotto the last player, but August just walks through and says, "This is my house," removes 2 intruders, and that will be double digits here for Next Gen. This was Cooper Trooper's map pick, Tony. Remember that. Next Gen, oh, they're the landlords.
We're going to fracture after this. I'm worried. I'm scared for KT. If this is Lotus, then it's going to be worrying on fracture, I have to say. But of course, they do still have a few ultimates left to burn. There is still one more round in this half. A 10-2 curse, a 9-3 curse, definitely both very much on the cards here. KT, we need to see that Hunter's Fury clear some space that Next Gen just seem to take so willingly, and KT aren't punishing.
KT do have 2 ults in their favor. Now remember, the one round that they did pick up was off the back of, I believe, 4 ults. So, you know what? They're halfway there. Vex takes the aerial route, but you know what? Next Gen, they read it like a book. They saw it coming and they just wait. They leech out a couple knives. I believe there's only 3 blades left at the moment here. And have a look at that util placement. The Nano Swarm just denying these choke points. McKinley, he needs to be careful. He's up in that smoke. Biggie Cheese, though, managing to take down the opposing Omen and Ryu. Vex whiffs that one out. Tam puts the aftershock to work, and they get 2 apiece here. It's now 3-on-3, but that rolling thunder will catch a lot of players on the side of Cooper Troopers out, and August backs it up with the one-man wrecking ball himself and takes down Vex. 2 players remaining for the side of the Cooper Troopers. Next Gen in a commanding position.
But Tim, he's got a fault line, he's got an aftershock. He's got Lobu to back him up. 40 seconds still to plant that spike, and, well, they don't actually necessarily have to plant it up on A. They can look to rotate through the spawn, but that is being held by Feta with the op. Of course, he sees a great little angle, holding a tight one towards the stairs. Will we have one first shot? Looks out the head. Hunter doesn't hit the head. It hits a few body shots. Tam down to 15 HP. Does have the spike in hand, and he has to go back to A. Unfortunately, doesn't have any more space, any room. But they don't know that he's still at A.
That was a bit of a misplay there. I feel like August probably hurt the big booties of Tam as he marched on down towards that A site, but no, he rotated to B. Now the retake has to be on. It's, you know, it's a good position for Next Gen to be in. There's only 15 HP on Tam. There's 2 of them, 1 of him. So they're in a good spot. The odds are in their favor. Tam,
Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, does have the Rolling Thunder, but 15 HP, probably going to save it for the next round. I think that would be the smart thing to do. Fault line clears it out, and Sinaway, easy swing, easy frag, and August will get the easy defuse. Next Gen are going to go into the half 11-1.
Yeah, I feel like you should have popped the Rolling Thunder, regardless of the outcome. You still have to use the ult, I guess. 11-1.
I did forget about that.
That's all right.
So did he.
Hard to keep track. Lotus gets picked in a best of 3. It's a lot to take on board. Definitely looking at that scoreline, 11-1. Next Gen, they need pistol, and then the next one, and they've won the game.
It's insane. I mean, we know how quickly 1 becomes 2 in the pistol round, and if Next Gen take this, is basically GG from here. Go next. Cooper Troopers left seething from their match pick. Their map pick, as the the pre-round gets set up. Have a look at that wall over towards A. It is but a fake as they shape up towards the mid corridor. At least to start this round here at the Next Gen. Cooper Troopers need divine intervention at this point.
Yeah, and I would have thought having Tim in the server would opt for a little bit more strategy out of KT, but they're just getting cleared in every single position by August and McKinley. I have to say the initiators for Next Gen have been the difference maker and the players to watch. in this one so far for the side of Next Gen. You see Alarm taken out and a 4-stack B for the KT side, and well, for Next Gen, they've got freedom to work the map and they got freedom to get rid of all the Killjoy util that's been placed.
And not even just the Killjoy util. Next Gen have been successful in baiting out anybody's util from the side of the Cooper Troopers for little to most often 0 damage. So that just goes to show you just where Next Gen are an additional class above Cooper Troopers, not only in the mental, not only in the gunplay, but also in baiting out the util as well. Every single time Cooper Troopers is just taking the bait as they swing in here, Stinaway is just waiting for them inside the smoke. They would not have been expecting that. In comes the fault line, courtesy of Tam. Need his boys to play off of this to be successful. Right, you're thinking about it, but Feta on the flank, nobody's looking, and Feta turns Lomu and Noir into Swiss. In comes Rio and Tam, back onto this side, and the Cooper Troopers back in it all of a sudden. Next Gen, one player remaining off the back of that frag onto Tam. It's going to be Ryu. Goes for the swing onto August, but the spike is ticking away. Ryu has to make a play here. He goes for the swing onto Biggie Cheese. Biggie with the jump. Doesn't actually get the kill. McKinley does, and that's going to be the pistol round going over to Next Gen. KT, they need a miracle here, Tony. They may as well buy up if they can afford a Stinger, if they can afford a Bulldog. Now is the time.
Oh, we're going to see a Marshall and... well, it is going to be a Spectre Light Shield, 2 Stingers and a Light Shield, but for the side of Next Gen, as you said, Bulldogs in play, Vandals out as well. They want to get this one done and dusted. They want to go to Fracture as soon as possible. KT, their last dying chance here on Lotus. Their pick, and it scored horribly wrong. A nightmare nobody wishes upon their worst enemy, and well, for KT, it seems to be a reality right now. Next Gen, of course, not opting to play for this A control for the moment. They're going to wait for McKinley to Guiding Light.
Yep, and it was executed to perfection as well. Forced back the Cooper Troopers. Even though they're on defense, they are just giving up ground here. Some would say smart, but on a map like this, you kind of want to get a peek in here or there. There are so many channels, so many corridors that need to be abused. And if you just allow the enemy to walk in onto the side, this is what happens. Now there are 4 members making it up towards this. Seaside Noir is there and waiting. Lomu with the shock dart takes down Feta, and Biggie Cheese as well falls. So the brothers forced to watch on from the sideline here. But now comes the rotation here from the Cooper Troopers. Meanwhile, Sinaway's going to run into Vex. And he does take him down. A bit of a tag coming through though, 49 HP, just manages to survive. Sinaway needs to get back and join McKinley ASAP.
Yeah, McKinley's still got a Guiding Light to play with. Sinaway's, well,
they're still at sea.
They're still at sea. They're all going to go through Link, and freedom for Next Gen to plant on A where they please, and it is going to be front of default box. But I feel they might have to double up Heaven here. They are going to send a Guiding Light that direction. Sinaway scoped in with this Bulldog towards the stairs. He's waiting for a swing. He spots Sova that's thrown a recon dart his direction, and well, you feel now the positions for Next Gen a little bit worrisome, because now they have to take the fights in the open. They don't have the HP or the numbers to really do so, and the Stinger is going to run it through, and KT can breathe a sigh of relief for just 1 round. They've got themselves a second.
I thought they were going to commit the cardinal sin there, Tony, and trickle in 1 by 1. It looked like that's what was going to happen, but credit to them. They said, no, if we're going to go in, we're going to go in as a unit. Well done to the Cooper Troopers. It was a much needed round. So they still survive for now. Some chats going out there, but still a lot of work to be done. A massive mountain to climb, an Everest, and then some, because Next Gen, they're going to be on match point for quite some time.
Yeah, they're on match point for 10 more rounds. If KT can run the full 10, I would be impressed, because they're looking a little bit out of sorts and looking a little bit asleep here on this first one. They're picked 2, so KT, they go into this one with a disadvantage going into Fracture. You feel Next Gen, they make it curtains just like that. Sheriff's invested Stinger Light Shield here for McKinley. Next Gen, they've opted for the second round force.
They have. They want to end this. And you know what? They can afford to have a gamble like this when they've got so many rounds to play with. But the Cooper Troopers, they cannot slip up, not even an inch. They do have the firepower to back them, but you can't underestimate Next Gen. We know what McKinley can do. We know what Feta can do. We know what everybody on this side can do. I can name them all. Biggie Cheese, August. I mean, That's not the way you do it, though. You got to check them corners, but it is Lotus. It is a new map. There's a lot going on. Noir with the Guardian. He makes it work twice. McKinley and August getting taken down. Spike over there as well, and here comes the rotation from KT, the full man squad. Coming through, nice work with the dark cover coming out there from Omen, but that Spike going to be picked up by Feta. He's going to get away with it here.
He's always scot-free, and Big Cheese has walked up. He's taken out Vex, but see, the difference maker is the Killjoy. You can't walk to a site where a Swarm or a turret is placed. It gives away so much info. Next gen, you have to thank Noah. He's playing this start of this half very, very well with the Killjoy. And of course, very hard to play attack on Killjoy, so we look to Noah to be the difference maker in these next few rounds. Fed up a 1v4 with a Stinger, a few Headhunter bullets, could find a few headshots. Spike is going to be secured with the plant, almost finds that tap on to Tam, but of course they're looking to swing him down. They're looking to hunt, find him in the middle of the site, take him out. KT, they get another on the board. McKinley, Fed up, Biggie Cheese, Sinaway, of course, not looking too worried about it though.
No, and why would you be? You've still got 9 rounds to play with. You're going to be on match point for the remainder of this game. A win or lose, likely to be a win, considering the odds are stacked so heavily in their favor. But they're trying a few things different, which you love to see as well. Next gen, they can afford to try a couple strats that may be dicey, maybe they're not 100% sure on. And the Cooper Troopers, they're just holding angles. That's really all they're doing here, and really all you need to do on a map like this. If you can abuse the verticality, the slight verticality of some of these sites as well, you know, it only takes a centimeter or two. And unless you've been in the range, pracking your flicks, Tony, your ups and your downs, you're not going to have a good time if you try and hit those sites.
Yeah, they're not having a great time at the moment, but of course now for next gen it's a full purchase. They're done with the Stingers, they're done with the Sheriffs, they're done with the Light Buy. Full arsenal in play for this one. In KT, now you have to be scared. But Lockdown is online for Noor, who looked to lock down that site before he even happens to be hit. He's over at B. 1 turret and 1 swarm. Waiting on the call from Ryu. He's holding the Paranoia. We'll see the Trailblazer hear it come out. We'll take it out. And he's holding his Paranoia for so long. He's waiting for the right time to toss it. And, well, next gen, they scatter. They don't get blinded. Bait out a piece of perfectly good util from KT.
He had them lined up for that Paranoia as well. It was juice if he let it fly, but just a little bit too late. And all of that util being baited out over towards that C site. They're going to try and rotate up here in next gen, but Cooper Troopers didn't send everybody over towards C. Now they take it nice and slow. Sinaway, Feta. Someone's making thunder hoofs all the way through that A site, but have a look at the split that's come off here. Biggie Cheese just peeling, going over towards that mid side. Having a little bit of attention turned over towards B as the rest of the next gen team, they eye off that A site, which is currently completely open.
Yeah, this is so hard to hold for either side, really. We saw next gen just stroll on in with smokes. Of course, double initiator for them. It's very interesting. Sorry, even, you know, triple initiator if you can count the Omen. They've got so much util to play with. They've got so many smokes to cover their angles. Ryu, he's going to be coming on the flank though. McKinley's not going to check for that one. And of course, teammate Lomu checking the other corner. And here is the lockdown. How do next gen play against it? They kind of have to push into it with KC coming their way. They need to find these kills quickly. They need to find them now, and they will. Feta, snake bite as well from Sinaway, and for good measure, 13 rounds to out of KC, and they go to next gen. I'm just getting out of hand.
The next gen lads were all in that lockdown as well. They were not phased whatsoever. They just held the line. They waited. Sinaway with that snake bite as well, firmly 2 feet inside the lockdown the entire time. Didn't break a sweat. So well done. That just goes to show you how classy the team formerly known as BFG are. Next gen, they are the next gen. They're going on to big things if they can keep performances like that up. Yes, it was against Cooper Troopers who were struggling to put a dub on the board, but that was a spanking.
That definitely was. There's no easy way to put it. And of course, props to KT. They showed us something new. They brought out the Lotus pick. As soon as it's in the pool, they bring it to the table. And unfortunately, couldn't quite get that upset map win against the side of Next Gen. And I have to say, Next Gen, I have to give it to August and McKinley. Very, very much impressed by how they played the flashes, and especially with the fact that you're playing a Sky in such a close corridor map like Lotus. They definitely made it work.
It's so strong, isn't it? And I think people watching that game might just be reminded of how strong Sky is. And when you have a look at the way the cash flowed here, it was basically Next Gen the whole way through. Cooper Troopers had some nice spikes in there, but the rounds where you thought they had a sniff, they were promptly shut down. Next Gen with a comfortable 10-round victory. I mean, you can see the money getting up to the 30K mark there at one stage for Next Gen, which is just nutty.
I'll tell you what, kid, that's not a roller coaster I want to be riding on KT. A lot of ups and downs and very, very jagged path there it took for the economy on the side of KT. Next Gen, though, it's stabilizing super well in those last few rounds of the half, keeping it in their hands for the whole time. Nothing was really going wrong. Of course, a great comp and a great debut here. McKinley, a bit of close up there. We get to see August. He's back. He's there on the camera for us. We see his lovely face, and McKinley, he's just sniffing us out for the moment.
Yes, he can smell victory, that's for sure. Well, it may be on the other side of the break, so don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. If they get their way, we will see Next Gen coming out with a victory, but the Cooper Troopers stand firm. Who's going to take it? We'll see you then.
This far, then you know it's out there.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Kia ora, I'm that guy's Energy, joined by the always excellent Kitfox as we continue our review of The Last of Us, now streaming on Neon. And this week we are doing episodes 4 and 5. Tim.
Listen, it was one of those episodes where it knitted everything together.
Save who you can save.
Now with episode 4, we are finally introduced to Aotearoa's very own Melanie Linsky in the role of Kathleen, leader of the Resistance. Now she has taken over a quarantine zone where Joel and Ellie have been ambushed, and she asks the pertinent question, that question being, Tim,
where is he? Where's Henry?
Where's Henry?
Is that Henry?
Where is he?
Is that Henry over there?
Where is he?
It becomes a very important question throughout the episode, not only during the battle that Joel and Ellie take place in, but also the introduction of Kathleen herself, as she kind of keeps asking it and takes some very lethal measures to get the answer for it.
She's ruthless. She's kind but yet ruthless, and I like that.
And then that ends up tying into episode 5, which is we finally see this kind of mini flashback as to who is Henry. Why is Henry? And also, who is Sam? And now with that, it leads down to almost the ultimate showdown between Kathleen and the Resistance.
It finally comes to fruition.
Yeah.
And that's the first time we see people versus people here. There's so many different enemies in this world, but when push comes to shove and we need food, we need all these things, it is a very, very cutthroat world that they live in.
You're right, a lot of the fights that we've seen so far have kind of almost been personal in a way. It was Joel versus that one Fedra guard in episode 1, and then with Bill and Frank, it was like 2 of them versus maybe 4 bandits, but now it's like Joel and Ellie versus like 5 dudes. And Joel's having to step into that violence again. It's such a funny sensation for him because he tries to avoid it. Just keeps getting pulled back in. Let's look at our top moments for episode 4 and 5.
Tim, for 4, for me, just the interaction between Joel and Ellie and how she's still a kid, but she's not a kid.
Episode 5.
It has to be the bloater.
The bloater?
Okay, it has to be the...
Yeah.
It just
The
comes
lad.
out there. Yeah, and you look at it and you just think, wow.
That's going to cause some trouble.
Yeah.
So that's been our review of episodes 4 and 5 for The Last of Us, now streaming on Neon. You can grab yourself a free 7-day trial by signing up at neontv.co.nz. As always, I have been that guy's NJ, joined by the always excellent Tim Provides. Until next time, ka kite.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Valorant Challengers Oceania. My name is Kitfox, but I am not alone. I am joined by TwoTapTony, and TwoTap, my man, we were just treated to some very stylish gameplay on the brand new map of Lotus by Next Gen Gaming. They made very short work of the Koopa Troopers, and it was Koopa Troopers map pick. And I tell you what, some of these plays were absolutely out of this world.
Feta bringing out the chamber, showing that it's still a good pick, I guess, in situations like this where you're prone to take a few fights with the rendezvous and then teleport out. Very much in tune with Chambers' kit. And for Next Gen, it was so many flashes. They got KT. I'd love to see the statistic on how many times they got them flashed, how many times they were blind in their retakes, in their holds. Just Next Gen had them completely dead to right in so many rounds, and of course it's hard to pick one player that really shone brightly here for Next Gen. They did it as a 5.
They did. Everybody definitely carried the weight. They definitely bore their load, and they did their job. Biggie Cheese with those smokes on the Omen, Sinaway with the toxic orbs more than anything on the Viper, but McKinley was the star with the guiding lights. August, forever amazing on Breach, and Sinaway as well. We can't forget about him on the Viper. 313 ACS, not too shabby at all.
Yeah, bringing out the Viper to Lotus, of course, I'm only drawing on my ranked experience. I haven't gotten to see any high-level Lotus just yet, and Viper and Omen seem to be a very, very solid comp for that Lotus. Of course, you can smoke, you can throw that fake wall to show that you might be going towards that side of the map, and then you just completely 180. You go to B, you rotate over to C. Very, very quick rotations too on the map, I have to say, with those doors. 95X, Next Gen, just looked completely in control.
I see a lot of potential for Astra on a map like that as well, and I think that Lotus is now in the competitive map pool. We may just see a little bit of evolution in the game style, but we have had one map and we have got at least one more. As we can see now, Fracture, the most picked map alongside Pearl in this tournament at the moment, Tony, going to be our battlefield of choice for map number 2 here in this best of 3. And I tell you what, if Next Gen have their way, it's going to be a very quick GG go next.
Yeah, Fracture, a very steady map for a team like the former BFG roster, now Next Gen, and we of course saw them go tit for tat with 95X just 2 weeks ago on that map. It went very close, 13-9. Unfortunately, they bowed out. Swirl, a very much star player in that one, of course. You can't really blame them. Diff, absolutely, maybe. But of course, still interested to see what we see from Fracture in terms of KT, because I believe we haven't seen all too much of it. It's been a lot of Pearl, it's been a lot of Haven, it's been a lot of everything else but Fracture from KT.
It has. And you know what? You could, I suppose, technically, you could say the same thing about Lotus, but it is brand new. But you know what? You have to give credit to them. They made history here in the tournament. If nothing else, Tony, they brought us our first Lotus. But as we head into Fracture, it is a map that KT, you know, they've definitely tried to avoid, which is something that a lot of the other teams haven't done. You know, we've spoken about how often this map gets picked, but we are ready. And I think a lot of this is going to come down to the agent selection when we get there, Tony. It's going to be coming down to how well you're going to choose those flashes, and we saw how well they were utilized on the side of next gen. It's hard not to say BFG. The next gen lads are on Lotus. If we can replicate those effects from McKinley, I don't know if we'll see the Sky necessarily, but we may see something else. The KO definitely comes to mind on a map like this one. Viper, no stranger, but maybe even we'll see some Astra as well. Extremely strong at covering those choke points with those nebulas.
Yeah, I believe we have yet to see an Astra out of Biggie Cheese, so that could be an interesting thing to note. But of course, you know, I want to look at what do KT bring to this one. Of course, I believe they will probably keep them on the Breach. Of course, very solid Breach pick. We saw some good moments. Of course, we saw some good fault lines, of course, to clear sites and such. But what else do you bring to the table? We see we saw Nor on the Killjoy. We saw a lot of lockdowns. What else do you bring? Do you sub them out? Do you bring the Raze to the table? Do you try to go for some aggressive plays? And of course, you can bring the Brimstone as well, go for some very fast style of plays. We've seen Vex play Neon, so we might see that this time, but it's a lot of questions being asked of KT and what they're bringing to the table.
Well, that's what I was about to ask, Tony. Like, where do we see Vex go? You know, we spoke a little bit about him. He was in our head-to-heads. He was kind of humbled in that map. It must be said, everybody from Next Gen definitely stood up, and they just silenced everybody that they came up against. It doesn't matter which player from the Cooper Troopers it was. They were just outclassed. But Vex is a player that, you know, where does he go? Do we see that Neon? Do we see him whip out somebody like the Chamber? We'll have to wait and see as we get into our agent selection here. I think if they're going to be successful here, the Cooper Troopers, not only do they need to play together, you know, better as a team, those individual players need to step up a little bit more as well. Vex, we need to see a little bit more of him. I liked what I saw out of Ryu on that Omen. You know, he was fantastic at holding those angles and initiating those dark covers. Unfortunately, a little bit heavy-handed with the paranoias, but we are seeing some interesting selections here. Ryu going to lock in the Brimstone. Vicky Cheese going to do exactly the same thing. A very strong agent selection on this map. That orbital strike is an ultimate that you do not want to be standing in at all, because it's very difficult to get out of, especially over towards that A side. If you're playing around the site, it's basically good night, see you later, thanks for coming. We'll just have to wait and see, Tony, if it will be agent selection diff here for the Cooper Troopers. But I'll tell you what, the lads over at Next Gen are definitely packing their own special type of heat.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on McKinley locking the Neon last second there. McKinley's debut on the Duelist. He hasn't played it throughout his career so far, so this is maybe a treat we get to see for Fracture. And of course as well, Feder gonna be on that Yoru, and very good map in terms of the pick here for a character like Yoru. You can get a lot of cheeky flanks going. You can also just set up a teleport, take the rope, fake it, and you can do so many crazy innovative things with Yoru on this map. And well, for Next Gen, they also get to start the attack.
I say it every time, Tony. Yoru in the hands of a good player is scary, and now that it's in the hands of Feder, I can't wait to see what he dishes up here. But Next Gen with this agent selection, they're having a little bit of fun here. It must be said, as we head into this second map of the best of three, currently a 1-0 advantage to Next Gen, but I like Vex picking up the Neon as well on the side of the Cooper Troopers. If anybody's going to step up on this map, it's going to be him for sure.
Yeah, we can see Feder. He's going to use a fake teleport. The rest of Next Gen just outside of Arcade for the moment, but there's a lot of presence being held here by KT. Nor with that high camera, Ryu with the smoke ready to deploy in as well. Fault line being held by Lomu, and you can see that camera immediately tags up McKinley. They have taken out Biggie Cheese in the process. Big little trade back as McKinley tries to fly on in. It's August again. Trade it back on Lomu, but you can see that the A site might be on the cards because Feder, he's cleared it completely with the help of Sinaway.
Yeah, it's completely open at the moment, but where is the spike? They haven't got it down just yet. It's coming all the way through Dish from the Breach player August. finally going to get it down. We're just under 30 seconds remaining, but have a look at the crossfire being held here from the Next Gen lads. They have got that zip line on lock, but what they're not watching is the zip line, the exact same path that August just came through.
Ooh, Tam, he's looking to take the fight against Feta up in ropes, but of course you can see that Next Gen stacking it well and playing the crossfire perfectly. Vex flies into the site, so does Noya, but they don't have a fighting chance against Next Gen, who are clearing every single angle. Holding top site, rope, and main. Next Gen, the first round on the board for Fracture.
I know we're only one round in, but they did this on the previous map as well, Tony. Next Gen in their post plant, no matter what side they're on, is incredible. They know exactly where to hold for whatever situation they're in. They've got 2 players, they know where to execute. They've got 3 players left, okay, they might go to slightly different positions, but they know every single time. You know, it's almost like they work as a hive mind. It's interesting to see McKinley and how he's going to go as the IGL on the Neon here. Probably going to be a lot of, why didn't you follow me in, boys? A bit of that on the Neon, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, Neon's a little bit hard to keep up with, but of course he will probably be backed very much in capable hands by Feta. So now look to walk in the site. You can see Neon Wall goes up and flying through it goes McKinley with the stinger. McKinley falls and so does Biggie Cheese, but you can see the Next Gen still have the frags to fight the good fight and get that spike down. Tim, 1v3 coming from the flank. Sinaway expects sit and bang headshot, wasting no time. Next Gen forcing guns out and forcing KT to their knees for that second round.
Yeah, they hardboard into the rifles that round too, did Next Gen. No Bulldogs or Stingers here. It was, you know, it was Vandals and Phantoms across the board as much as they could anyway. So definitely foot on the throat of Cooper Troopers here in the very early stages. But KT, lots of Valorant to be played. That's the good news for them. What's even better news, TwoTap, is that they have the buy round in their favor. Next Gen might be doing this one on breadcrumbs a little bit. They've got those 3 rifles left over from the previous round. But the 2 players to fall, August and Biggie Cheese, they're going to be doing this the old-fashioned way with pistols.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way.
Did he just relay himself?
He definitely did. McKinley, he's not used to the Neon. You can't really blame him. Debut game on the Duelist, and we're bound to see some wacky things out of McKinley. Very much one of those IGLs, of course, up there with Minimize that do a lot of work behind the scenes with the players, with the strats, do a lot of bod review. McKinley, very much a seasoned IGL when it comes to shaking things up.
And all that for nothing, TwoTap. They make a lot of noise over towards Dish. Nobody's home though. Little they know, the A side relatively open, but they're going to rotate this one back towards B because you can see Fedit and Sinaway applying pressure from B long inside the cage, going out now. Sinaway pushes up on through it, gets one. Vex is there and waiting though and takes down McKinley. So Neon on Neon action. I'd ship it. It's now a 4-on-4 situation and Next Gen continue to aggress. They take control of tower. And they still have all of this util at their disposal. They don't even need to use it as August just swaggers his way onto this site for a plant.
The spike will be planted. The aftershock flies out of the hands of Lomu and into the B site. But Next Gen, they've got some great post-plant positions. We take an aggressive positioning towards the front of Gen Box, and Sinaway is just fighting the good fight, and they're playing crossfires perfectly to trade out these kills. Feta in August. Now Feta teleports to Kitchen. Ryu, you would have heard it. Knows that there might be a player there, but will be fault lined perfectly timed by August. I have to say, McKinley talked a lot of crap about August, but he's definitely proving that he's got what it takes on this roster.
Definitely. I love that the smack talk just doesn't, you know, it doesn't stop at the opposition. It extends to the boys as well, which, you know what, I think is the sign of great banter. And you know what, it clearly translates to great gameplay as well. Great team atmosphere, smiles on the faces of the Next Gen lads. And you know what, they're sitting pretty. 3 and zip. They do have an ult to play with. Neural Theft comes online. Cooper Troopers still a little bit away from their ults. Noir close to his Neural Theft. But a hard B rush here coming through from Next Gen. They are putting the pedal to the metal. Up goes the Neon Wall, but the Cooper Troopers, they pushed out through Arcade. No way! Next Gen are just going to walk up behind them with guns at their disposal. Better Dimensional Drift spots them up there. McKinley gets absolutely murked by Vex, and he's still going. He takes down Feder as well. But here comes August and Biggie Cheese. They say that's enough of that. They take control of the B side. August still with the spike in hand. I don't think he realizes just yet. Now he does. Gonna go for the plant.
Big Cheese on 1 HP. Very
Spike
much still
planted.
doable for KT, but of course, that gun not going into their hands for very long as very, very good swing there from August. The orbital strike to clear out Heaven and deny the gun grab for just a little bit longer because they don't want to give that one up. The flank comes through from Ryu, backstab into the head of Sinaway, but Biggie Cheese with 1 HP still finds one on a Ryu. Null command against the wall. Tim trying to spot out August, trying to deny the util, but the Rolling Thunder's set up perfectly for the post plant. Let's go. Tam doesn't even get it to halfway. He high flashes himself, and Tam is now panicked against the wall, and he's backed against it too. August, perfect 1v1, perfect clutch, perfect post plant. Next gen, keep the flawless run going.
He couldn't even defuse from the days because of that Rolling Thunder. That was tough to watch, especially if you're a Cooper Troopers fan, but you have to give credit to August there. Played that to perfection, and why not? If you're going to throw out the ultimate in a one-on-one, it may as well be when it's on the line like that. So they move their score along to 4-0. Cooper Troopers, now they've got a bye. Now they start to look menacing. 2Tap, they also have 2 ults to play with. Even the fast lane here from Neon, sorry, the overdrive.
And the overdrive still online. Will be the wall up, Vex. No, it's McKinley to swing on a Tam. Caught with a flash in hand. That's kind of the unfortunate part about playing an initiator like the Breach, like the KO. He's often sometimes caught with a duelist just absolutely taking it to town. And Feta, he's looking to take it to town. He's going to walk at a beat. August.
Spike down.
He's going to be
Attacker
dropping the
spawn.
spike, and that's neural theft out from Noya. They have all the info now. KT, this could be the one they put on the board, but still Feta and Sinaway in the works.
Last player standing.
It's going to be a triple. Trigger taken immediately. Vex, some great discipline, and all of a sudden now Sinaway to do the unthinkable, it feels.
Yeah, Cooper Troopers looking menacing here in this round, which is something we haven't said too much this game so far. Next gen, with their backs against the wall here, it is all up to Sinaway. What can Norshin do? He goes over towards the arcade, up the zip line, takes position up in tower. The spike, though, he's got all eyes on it from the side of the Cooper Troopers. They are not letting that out of their sight at all. Lomu, he's going to have a look down towards the down B long, over towards the B side. There is going to be Sinaway, just channeling his favorite song. Ooh, I was about to say swing. That's exactly what Lomu did. Nicely done. KT with their first round for Fracture.
First round on the board and many more to come. They've got 4 ultimates online, Kit. You feel it's heavily in their favor for at least the next 2. Next gen are looking to force out a buy here. Fortunately, Biggie Cheese doesn't quite have the most healthy of investment. You will have a Stinger Light Shield. Sorry, Spectre Light Shield. Stinger's actually on McKinley, who, well, you can't really blame him for giving McKinley that gun. Of course, ability to slide through stuff often means you're able to get in the face, get some damage up range, and Stinger's the gun for it.
Lots of noise being made over towards the A side. We saw the fault line just delay that rush from McKinley, then the smoke to follow from Brimstone. Now, speaking of Brimstone smokes, Biggie Cheese is going to do that, and the trigger is pulled from McKinley. He goes over towards his A side, but he's stunned out of it. Lomu, nicely done there. Tam threw out the ult, and it's not going to be good enough because Feta just denies the null command. See you later, Tam. He's down and out. 2 players remaining. In comes the orbital from Next Gen. Ryu gets taken down as Brimstone just does it the old-fashioned way. It's now a 2-on-1 situation. Noir, he throws out the neural theft. He knows exactly where Next Gen are.
He's read it, though.
He has read it. He knows the fake out was there. And now he's going back. He's holding at the zip lines here, Tony. Oh, my goodness.
That's such a great call there from Noy. You can see heavily thinking strategic, but I say that. Oh no, he's rotating through spawn. No. He's absolutely blundered it. Oh, he's got the camera though. Now he knows. Spike's planted at A, it's planted for main, it's planted for these last 2 next gen players. Needs to isolate 2 individual 1v1s. And it's hard to do. August, Sinaway, they're not going to pick a muscle. They know they can play the time, but not. He's got a cyber cage. He can drop it, he knows they're going to swing through it, he knows that they're going to try and spam it. Fault line is baited out. He's going to wait for the swing, the shot comes out, but he can't quite hit it. Sinaway to find it. And Next Gen will pick another one up on the board. 5-1 now, and I have to say, perfectly played in the post plant, nor he outread himself.
He was just in his own head a little bit there, wasn't he? He did have the read and then just second guessed himself because of the slow play that came out there from Next Gen, but he almost had that there. He was in prime position. The worst thing that Next Gen could have done there was push in one by one. You know, they had to go together in a 2-on-1 situation like that. They kind of didn't, you know, it set up for him there. And it could have been a conversion, but Sinaway just 2G. He's diff, and that will be another round on the board for Next Gen. And speaking of overdrives, it's not going to be McKinley, it'll be Vex who goes out and runs straight into the crosshairs of Feta.
And take it out immediately. Feta, a duelist to watch for too. Of course, with the Yoru popping the dimensional drift, runs face first in the aftershock. He's not going to take any damage. He's just info gathering. Feta, the perfect character for him, able to supply his team with all the info to take the site. And it's up left to Tam, the coach, standing in for Ibrocky this evening. Okay, see, they call on him in times of need, but it's his time of need now. 4 players against one lowly Tam. He's going to be swung, jiggled perfectly by August, and I have to give that round to Feta. He gave so much info just with one ultimate.
Yeah, and he got a frag as well. I mean, the comms could have gone out very easily that, you know, Cypher's in his cage, but he said, you know what, I'm just going to do this myself. Pops out of the dimensional drift, easy frag, and then again, like we saw them do on Lotus, everybody from Next Gen is just stepping up here. McKinley, he's up Struggle Street a little bit on his debut round as the Neon, 2 and 6. But regardless, the rest of the lads are lifting. Feta leading the way. His brother Biggie Cheese is a little bit further behind, but he's got a more important job to do. Get down those smokes, and there it is, the big brimmy stimmy that will allow McKinley to penetrate over towards the arcade area.
Yeah, I like the combination of the brim stim. Hard to stop a Neon that's running at you in 2 times speed. August will find Noah. They have to give B completely up because Next Gen, they took so much space towards arcade, and you kind of can't hold from arcade or the top of heaven when you've got so many Next Gen players flying at you. Vex trying to hit the flick. He's struggling for a moment. Able to capitalize on a Biggie Cheese, drops the gun. It is retrievable. McKinley needs to be careful. Fault line comes out from Lomu. But you see the trades are going still in the favor of Next Gen, in August. It's just popping off, man. But kill after kill, getting those frags in on the EQ. 7th round, Next Gen in August. You have to feel very much sad that he's departing this roster because he's doing so well.
Yeah, I mean, his name is August, but it was feeling like December there. It was Christmas for him. They all just lined up. He ends the round with 4. You can't ask for much better from the man. And Next Gen extend their lead out here, 7-1. Both Rolling Thunders for both of the breaches come online, but that's all for Koopa Troopers. Meanwhile, Biggie Cheese is rocking with the orbital strike coming into this round as well. So 2 massive, massive ultimates for Next Gen as they look towards Dish here, but KT are going to meet him.
Yeah, KT going to meet them head to toe there at the Dish, and Vex is going to take the first one onto McKinley. And a great start now for KT. That's what we want to see. We need some signs of life from KT because it's been all too quiet so far. Better. He's going to toss the high flash up and spin away. They'll take out Lomu. They will pop the orbital. And that gives cover for Feta to throw out his teleport, to throw out another flash and get himself deep in the face of Koopa Troopers. And this is a scary position now to be if you're Vex, because of course Feta, he's teleported directly underneath it. Spike planted for main. Next Gen, they've got all themselves in great post-plant positions, and that's a hard corner to clear, and Feta plays it perfectly.
Ooh. A nice little shot to the top of Feta's head there. He had about 1 hair to aim at and still manages to find the frag. They don't know that Biggie Cheese is waiting right at the base of the zip line. They both jump. They're going to line up for Biggie Cheese. He went for the knife in the end there, but you know what? Decided against it. He checked the 6 just at the right time there, and it was almost disastrous. But it's going to be a round for Next Gen. Unfortunately for the Koopa Troopers, they shatter their economy. I don't think they're going to have enough to scrounge together or cobble some sort of buy for this round. No, it's going to be Sheriffs right across the board. They still hold on to that Rolling Thunder. Good news for them, TwoTap. They built up 2 other ultimates. They've got the Neural Theft as well as their own Orbital online.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand. You felt for KT the round they won, they were able to put it on the board, and then the next few looked very much doable. This one, on an eco yet again, and next gen looking to charge head first into this site with another dimensional drip from Feta, getting all the info, clearing every corner, checking it completely, and the site's given up. Arcade for the taking for Feta if he wants to, and with those smokes, can really play wherever they want to for next gen.
Yeah, but the flanks are good from the Cooper Troopers, and they take down McKinley, who was in the tower. Now the neural theft going to come out here. This is big news. You can see now Ryu managing to get the kill into August, the hero of the last round there. 2 players remaining. It's in fact a 3-on-5 situation. Orbital goes down towards the back of B long. Nobody's home though. Spike's still yet to go down. In fact, it's been rotated the whole way around, 2Tap. You can see Brimstone just being the sacrificial lamb here. Biggie Cheese holding across. The rotation is good. Better. He's going to be joined by Sinaway, and it goes down ski at A.
And you can't really blame Biggie Cheese being the sacrificial lamb. He's got no smokes left, so he's in a prime spot to just find a kill or two. Take the numbers away from KT, and he can hear them. I don't think they're going to check this. Nobody in their right mind. Biggie Cheese is a massive brain, and not quite the aim for it, though. Doesn't get the spray transfer, and Biggie Cheese taken out by Noah. Vex to take Feta, and Coop Troopers to take the round. Next gen caught with an unfortunate whiff there.
Oh, not like this. Not like this. Thrifty round coming through too. The rotation from Cooper Troopers was good. It has to be said, but next gen, they just outplayed themselves there. And a bit of an unfortunate turn of events. Well, lucky for the Cooper Troopers though, the big 180 from Noir, channeling a bit of Mike from last week, Tony. He's definitely watched the highlight reel. But we're going to see a little bit more of that, I hope, for the Cooper Troopers. They finally get around. They stabilize their economy, if but for one round. It's a round they can afford to breathe, Tony, which is an opportunity they haven't had for a very, very long time, because next gen, they've just had them in the sleeper hold, whispering softly in their ear, going, shh, shh, time to sleep now. And slowly but surely, they've been suffocating.
And this is still a tall mountain to climb for KT. You've still got 2 ultimates online for the side of next gen, the Rolling Thunder and the Neural Theft. Lomu does have the Rolling Thunder of his own, so could deny the walk up here. Next gen, they've been very prone to this B site, and KC maybe starting to read them a little bit. After shock towards the box, know that nobody's there. Can't be hiding anywhere near. Vex looks to go for the swing a little bit early. Didn't wait out the flash from the KO and the fragment. He was going to be held out for the moment, but McKinley is just going to put the pedal to the metal and take out both of them. Vex, Tamfall, Neural Theft knows exactly where these last 2 players are. Ryu, Nor holding from Arcade and holding on for dear life. Next gen is at a steam train their way. Fedder's all the way on the flank. They're not going to hear him. He's going to run up quickly, and the sound cue now given to Ryu, who's going to get shot inside by August. And they're just getting drowned out. Next gen, a flawless take to the B site.
Yeah, after getting 50 in that last round, next gen answer back in, you know, arguably the most perfect fashion, which is a completely flawless round. Nobody dropping from them, and you can see them cool as cucumbers, every single one of them. The normally, you know, rather active McKinley, he big chillin'. Everybody's just vibing on the side of next gen at the moment. Meanwhile, Vex, a little bit more serious on the side of the Cooper Troopers lads. Noir, they've all got a little bit of room to improve, that's for sure. But August, he's got that Rolling Thunder. So does Lomu, though. Again, both of these breaches find themselves in a situation with ults. McKinley puts the pedal down, and the util can't zone you out if you just walk over the top of it. He tried that last round. There's another Rolling Thunder, and that's just going to push everybody back. Don't know if that was required, Tony, but it had the desired effect.
Yeah, that'd be satisfying, pushing next gen out of A main for the moment. But yeah, very, very early, and unfortunately nobody there to, well, swing, capitalize off it. And, well, next gen, they burn the Rolling Thunder from KC very, very well. Now they have to clear Vex in his back side. They've got the Rolling Thunder of their own, and they're in better teleports, and everybody else walks and then some. At Lomu, he's going to find one of the Biggie Cheese. He's unfortunately going to miss that, but quickly capitalized back by August. The plant will go for main yet again, but there is nobody in a main for the moment here for next gen. KT, they take control of that position. They could have a good retake on.
Yeah, Breach is online as well. We've got the Aftershock as well as the fault line. Sorry, the flash as well as the fault line for Lomu. He throws it over towards the door, clears out the corridor, which means the side. This is going to be tough to take here. Brim throws out the molly. Ryu's got that Sheriff. Oh, has to get out of the way. Right on top of the neon relay. Does have the Judge It's not going to be much use from that range. Sinaway through the box, finds the head, and Next Gen moved to double-digit territory.
Switching sides.
Slow and steady. Next Gen looking to win this race, but of course there's some very quick rounds coming in. They bait out the Util so well, I have to say. That's of course something to note as well on Lotus. They saw the KJ swarms, they saw the KJ util on those early few rounds. They baited it out perfectly and then just rotated completely. Next Gen, they aren't scared to rotate. They aren't scared to go, you know what, maybe that site's a little bit stacked. Let's change our plan.
I need to change something here to the Koopa Troopers because it's like they're ramming their head against the brick wall here at the moment, and that brick wall is Next Gen. They are insurmountable. They are, you know, indisplaceable. They just hold strong every single time, and then they throw out the util and they run across the top of the Koopa Troopers defense here. They were holding like, you know, the stone gargoyle raid bosses on defense. Now that they're, you know, on attack, let's see what they've got here. As the Koopa Troopers need some kind of miracle. I know I've said that before, but this is a new map, new territory. Next Gen holding, better, waiting for the swing. You can hear players coming through the tower. Flash goes through, and that is not good from Tam. I think he flashed out next there, and Feta says thank you very much. But Tam gets 2, survives on 40 HP, sit away, gonna walk right into this smoke, and
he's caught him.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, throws out the whole clip, and it was a very easy kill there for Sinaway. Just walking straight up and knocking right on his doorstep.
Yeah, you heard the sound cue of the reload. I was like, you know what? Time to shine. Spike down, Molly on top of it. Right, one Sky Smoke left to deploy. And 3 players to find. McKinley was holding the arcade. The other 2, they heard the spike. They've seen it been picked up. And now they're just going to swing it. 1 and 2 together. 3K in the pistol for Sinaway. 11 rounds Next Gen. Again, Kit, we're at the same standings that we were last one. Of course, a little bit quicker from Next Gen, I have to say. It was 11-1, but 2 rounds away from completely blowing this series out of proportion.
Yeah, Next Gen, they have, you know, they dropped their orb. It's a fresh start, and this is the best way to get off to a flyer, Tony. An absolute domination of the map #1 here. Brand new one of Lotus as well. So they can hold their head high with the first official Lotus victory of the VALORANT Challengers Oceania. And now they're looking to dominate here on Fracture against the Koopa Troopers as well. And everybody, once again, it's a team effort on the side of Next Gen. They're taking this one nice and slow here at the Koopa Troopers. They're just in their own spawn, in their own heads a little bit, it would seem, Tony. They don't know which corner Next Gen are just lurking around.
Yeah, you can't really blame them. They have to clear everything. Sinaway, little toss down the cage. They are now stuck behind it. No tripwire trigger, but a fake clone there by Feta, and some shots landing on that bulldog. Means the rest of Next Gen can capitalize, and it is going to be August from the flank, taking apart Ryu. 12 match series point. Still only 2 to KT's name. Guns are going to be purchased, though. They do have the money. But this is do or die. This is the last hope. KT need to make the run happen now.
They do. It's the buy round for them, so this is the best chance that they've got here. They're not going to go down, you know, like a wet noodle. They're going to go throwing haymakers. And you know what you would expect nonetheless when there's so much money on the line here. Koopa Troopers, regardless, they're going to be walking away with a couple stacks. But they want to, you know, improve that come the end of this tournament. And to do that, they need to chain together some wins. They're looking rather over towards the dish area, and they get 2, they get 3. Nicely done. They blow the dish wide open. They head down towards drop, and they take control of the A site. Well done.
And that was interesting to start that one off. Vex actually was faked out by the clone there from Feta. You see Next Gen, 2 bulldogs left in their hands. Aftershock forces Sinaway away from his flank, and well, McKinley by his side. Gonna clear the camera, check for a flank. They're stacked up in this main position, looking to steal away any guns. KC, they'll take a few, and they'll take them all the way from Next Gen. And they'll take themselves the 3rd round.
Yeah, they get 1 gun, the dangerous Vex, but they'll be more than happy. I think there's a couple players that could potentially buy for him, or maybe not. We'll have to wait and see, but he is leading the charge here, 2 away from the overdrive.
Right there.
KT, again, they find themselves in probably the worst position you could find yourself in as a Valorant team, which is, 10 plus rounds of match point that you have to climb back from, but you're off to a good start. Next Gen, though, they're sitting pretty. They're in the hammocks, sipping their pina coladas. They're more than happy to have a little bit of fun with this one. Nice early fault line will catch out McKinley. It has happened a couple times, and nice work there. Vex gets Feta, and Sinaway falls to Ryu, so well done. Cooper Troopers with the early advantage.
Here.
They're getting some early kills on the board. Next Gen.
Bad move.
Looking for some crazy stuff from Will McKinley. Able to find that first relay ball comes out. He's holding for Vex, gets some good tags in, but doesn't quite finalize the kill. Fragment toss towards the kitchen, towards the canteen. You can see Spike will go down. 2 players left for Next Gen to retake it. It will be one. Biggie Cheese falls, and so does August. Vex to find a 3 in the round. The 4th on the board. KC can pick that one up, but Next Gen, now they've got to purchase.
They've got to purchase. They also have 2 ults. The dangerous Dimensional Drift, which we've seen Feta use, masterfully every single time he's had it built up. And he's built them up rather quick too. Interesting to note. Sinaway, also with that Neural Theft, extremely strong no matter what map you're playing it on. As it looks like we've got a, is this a, no, we don't have a pause. We are ticking down. It's potential final round here as, again, McKinley aggressive and denied straight away.
And that's just timing. Unfortunately, McKinley just trying to send it, and sometimes you kind of have to delay it like a half second, a second. That way you don't get pre-fired like that. KT, such a smart call to make. It's the shut down the door strat that we've seen a few of these other teams employ. Vex trying to fly into the site with the relays and will be looking to take the A site for the rest of his team. Tim is going to take out Sinaway, and it's up to August and Biggie Cheese, and they will be falling. Flawless round, KT. On a buy from Next Gen, and now the run. I'm starting to believe it's happening, Kit.
Big words. We'll just have to wait and see. 5 could become 6. Ults definitely in the favors of the Cooper Troopers. They've got everything online apart from the Rolling Thunder. The null command. Hello. They've forced a timeout here. Next Gen just say, hang on a minute. We need to catch our breath a little bit. And there you can see August just having a little bit of a stretch. And we've got some concerned faces there, Tony.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Feta and I guess Biggie Cheese starting to look a little bit more concerned. McKinley, you definitely see there's a bit of doubt starting to show up on his face. Of course, they just need one more round. And, well, Cooper Troopers.
Oh, Ryu's gassed.
He is feeling good. Look at him calm. He's locked in right now. He wants this game. He wants to take Fracture off of this Next Gen side. Go to that 3rd map and, well, of course, still the mountain to climb. 7 rounds straight is what they're after.
You know, I really like the cams there, Tony, because normally we would speculate about what the timeout meant, but Next Gen, you could see on their faces, they were legitimately worried.
Yeah, the cameras coming in good. Shout out to production for that one. Setting them up for this week especially, and of course the future weeks to come. So, yeah, production doing God's work behind the scenes. We're back into it. Next Gen, it's a half purchase, a few sheriffs, a stinger. Nothing really much to blink an eye at in KC. Feels like a given 6. Of course, we've seen some crazy things happen. This is Valorant after all.
It's OCE Valorant too. We've seen 50s being pulled out like rabbits out of hats, just pure magic. And if any team can do it, Next Gen definitely can. McKinley, he's been aggressive on this Neon, as you need to be, but they're just sitting in spawn waiting for him. Easy frag, going the way of the Cooper Troopers. That's a gun taken down as well.
That's one of the stingers out of commission. KT, I like this. This is default as possible. Wait for a swing, punish it when it happens. Wait for even Feta to get aggressive, but they're not going to go towards A. Everybody's starting to approach that position, and well, fortunately enough for Next Gen, that's where they've stacked. They just don't need to show a player. They don't need to give up the info. Next Gen, they're going to hold down this site with 3 players in it.
They pull the trigger, they engage, and they pick up 3. They get 4 kills. Hold the phone. The Cooper Troopers are back in business. They are in the heads of Next Gen. Like the cordyceps virus, they're slowly taking over. They are controlling this game all of a sudden. Yes, it was not really a buy for Next Gen. Now they do get exactly that. But I'll tell you what, this is, it's starting to look a little bit dire for Next Gen. You know, it's a mountain to climb for the Cooper Troopers. And we saw on the faces of Next G, they are worried, they're shooketh. They do have 4 ults to play with though, so maybe that was a capitulation round, Tony, just to build some of them up and come out with one last massive hurrah here. But little do they know, Cooper Troopers have got 5 ults of their own.
Yeah, 5 ultimates, Orbital, Overdrive, Rolling Thunder. Very much a mirror position for both these teams of the ultimates, though. For Next Gen, no KO this time around. Opting for the double duelist. It's definitely paid off well. Their attack side looks so dominant with that double duelist. The amount of space Feta was able to make with those dimensional drifts, and well, now they need to hold space on this site. Biggie Cheese is suppressed up for the moment. August has found the first on the team, but it hasn't cleared for Vex, who is still walking up through the stairs. Lomu as well. Troopers, they're dropping them like dominoes. Feta is looking to tap, is going to hear the res be stuck, and he is going to throw out the clone, try to bait a player off a position, but the flash comes in from Tam perfectly to deny the space walk up. Gets a shot in the Vex. Feta a lot to do though.
He has no idea where the remaining 4th player is either. There it is. Noir says, here I am, mate. And here they go. The Cooper Troopers are back in business. Vex chatting away. Ryu looking cool, but he's definitely laying out the comms. And I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the Next Gen lads. Oh my goodness. Ooh. That tells a story, doesn't it, Tony? That tells a lot. A picture is worth 1,000 words. 4 pictures there, or 5 if you count Cineway. That's worth 5,000. That's a novel.
Oh, this is a
yeah, storm cloud starting to roll over. Doubt starting to settle in Next Gen. Another half buy. It's a Bulldog. It's a Spectre. It's a few Stingers. Next Gen.
What is this?
They're investing the dimensional drift. Feta, okay. He's just going to send it through. Actually walking over towards B. Katie. They're not going that direction though. There's 5 stacked in A main right now.
This is insane. They just played super default again. They didn't set one big toe out of spawn. And the Cooper Troopers, they were waiting for Next Gen to come to them, but they went the wrong way. They went through Dish. Now August knows he lines everybody up with the fault line as they try to push through A main. Orbital strike over towards drop, pushes August off his perch. The spike is going to go down, but here comes the Rolling Thunder. This is huge. Next Gen are going in. The counter Rolling Thunder comes out. It's an absolute mayhem fiesta over towards this A side. But the Cooper Troopers, they stabilize. They find 3 kills somewhere in all that dust and smoke. They don't lose anybody. How are they still alive?
It's absolutely blasphemy here. Next Gen, though, with that Rolling Thunder that was tossed out, it did stop the spike from going down, so they need to secure the plant, but they're just going to secure the kills. Why plant when you can just kill all 5 players and win the round that way? August been stuck at drop for so long and now needs to get into a position to take these fights. Another fault line available. Aftershock on the line. He's just getting fault line. He's getting a taste of his own medicine. Nothing he can really do. Does want to play a Nort. Jiggling that A main position, swinging out the rest of Cooper Troopers will. Another flawless round goes their way. It's 8-12. Again, it's starting to be more doable. 4 rounds. That's all that separates this.
How look at this scoreline. Next Gen won pistol. They won the round following. They've been on match point ever since. They have been unable to break the buy of Cooper Troopers since they've found money. This is insane. This is a genuine comeback train that we are seeing right now. And you could see on the faces through the cams on Next Gen, they are legitimately worried. They don't know what to do. McKinley's just trying the same thing. He's going super aggressive, getting shut down every single time. They're just playing into the hands of the Cooper Troopers here. Finally, he realizes his mistakes, and NRG, and Next Gen rather, they apply the brakes. But nicely done there by the Cooper Troopers. They find Feta over towards Arcade.
Yeah, they find Feta, and again, they're just playing default. Cooper Troopers I have to say, I applaud it. So much discipline being expended here by such a young team. Cooper Troop was one of those teams that came up through the open qualifier, and we weren't quite sure what to think of this roster. There's a few sharp names on paper, but of course, it's been a struggling season for them so far. Currently 0-4, but they're making one hell of a comeback here on Fracture. 4 more rounds still to go, though. And 4 more players still to take out in this round. Vex, he's all the way up through Spawn. He's taken another. Biggie Shears drops in the blink of an eye. And Vex has got to go. He's got to get out to safety. McKinley,
30 seconds
he needs
left.
to clear this. Off angle being held by Vex, and it's so smart. Everybody from KT using their heads right now. And next gen, they're just getting outbrained.
Out of charges.
Tony, I can't believe what I'm witnessing. I cannot believe that I'm sitting here watching Next Gen fumble a 10-round lead. This is bananas. They are fired up, are the Cooper Troopers, and this gap closes ever closer. It's now 9-12. Next Gen have had every opportunity to put this game to bed. They're a map clear, for God's sake. But the Cooper Troopers, I'll tell you what, they must be blue-shelled, my man, because they do not miss.
They definitely do not miss right now. Now I'm gonna get the ultimate orb. McKinley is gonna get not too away on that overdrive counter. Cooper Troopers uncontested dish control this time around. And I feel for a team like Next Gen, they triple swung it on the last half and it didn't work out well. Of course, starting to walk towards his ace site. Next Gen, not playing on it, interestingly enough.
Every time they try something Next Gen, it's just that weird cosmic alignment. Every time they try something, it just does not work for them. It's always going the way of the Cooper Troopers. You know, Next Gen shape up over towards A corridor. You know, Cooper Troopers are over at Dish. It's insane the way things work sometimes in this game. And once again, Next Gen find themselves at a man disadvantage. Ryu's got this on lock. He's so good at holding angles. He's got 4 for the round. It'd be criminal to rob him of the ace here. Lomu does exactly that. But the Cooper Troopers, Tony, are on 10. They have found double digits. Next Gen have lost 8 in a row.
And this is the meme of the dog sitting in the house on fire. Everything's fine right now for Next Gen, but it's really not. The house is on fire. Everything's starting to come ablaze here for KT, and well, Next Gen one last bye. They lose this, more than assuredly goes to overtime. Cooper Troopers, they've made the run from 10 to 2.
I can't believe this. I'm so invested in this game right now. I can't believe what I'm witnessing. Cooper Troopers, they shape up over towards the arcade area. Fedda's got a good angle there though, but if they time exactly the way they've been doing, the Cooper Troopers, their utility, they'll catch Fedda out, and he needs to be careful not to swing or make too much noise here. Have a look at the composure of the Cooper Troopers. There's 3 players at the back of arcade. They swing as a unit. They spot Fedda. And they displace him. He's still alive, but he's hurt, he's bruised, he's battered. And noise being made, a slow, steady approach from Cooper Troopers. 2 players over towards A. So this is a bit of a split push here, 1 on either side.
Yeah, they're just trying to draw a rotate, but Next Gen, you can see poised in their position, not giving away anything. That wall comes out, gives Cooper Troopers space to work with as they try to fly their way into this site. Sinaway is going to be reloaded in at the back of heaven. He's going to be taken out by Vex, but still they have to clear for Fedda, who's up in this position, denying anybody from this control. It's a 4v4, but the spike is down. Fedda will take out Tim. And Cooper Troopers, they need to make their stand here. They need to take it to overtime. More Next Gen players walk in. Lomu is able to find the first, but it's a triple from Fedda. Trades out the guns. He's got 6 bullets now. Reloads. And the molly.
Nice.
Smack. Bang onto the spike. Noya on the flank of a lifetime. Ryu not quite able to find McKinley, sliding in. It's Noah now to find one in the McKinley, but not quite so. The dreams are dashed. The hopes are done. 13-10. Next Gen finally closed that one out, and you can see now smiles on their dial. That game almost was lost.
Oh my God, Tony. I felt as much a spectator as a caster there. That was what it was about. That was, my goodness, I love this job. That was insane. Well done to Next Gen Gaming. They almost recorded the most historical bag fumble in the history of OCE Valorant, but they hold on. The Cooper Troopers, though, I've got one question. Where was that for the rest of the game? Like, honestly, the way that they were executing in those last couple rounds, they did not miss a trick. They scoped out every single corner. They were fault lining every single, corridor. They did not miss a single trick. There was nowhere for Next Gen to hide. As we have a look at the replays and some of the highlights here, Tony, it's going to be a lot of Next Gen to start things off, but latter stages, second half, it's all the Cooper Troopers song.
And I have to say, it's a fault from Next Gen, but it's a big plus from KT. Playing default, I believe, back-to-back in spawn, sitting, waiting for Next Gen to get aggressive when they know that they're on the back foot. It was a big mental game there from KT, and it almost paid off well. The mental boom was starting to see. You saw dark clouds over the heads of Next Gen. They were doubting themselves, and that's not what you want to see out of a team right there. Of course, they were able to close it out, though, and a huge performance for Feta on the Yo. That first half completely ran it through, but you look on the other side, Vex, stunning performance on the Neon, 7 first kills. He was up in the fray every single time.
He was, Vex. That's what you want from your Neon. That's what McKinley was trying to do. So maybe it's a little bit difficult to lead on the, to IGL on the duelist, especially somebody like the Neon. I'm sure he learned that out the hard way, but I'm sure fun was had regardless, Tony. But you could see there through the insight that we've gained through those cameras that they were legitimately worried. The timeout was called by Next Gen. We thought, we could have speculated. We could have said, they're worried without actually knowing. We could have said, they're fine. They're just, talking about what they're going to do next. It'll be fine. But we legitimately saw fear in the eyes of them there. Maybe it's safe to say the number one enemy for Next Gen in this game was Next Gen themselves.
Yeah, the enemy is myself, the enemy is within me, whatever the quote goes. Of course, we started to see even McKinley, a man full of confidence and very, very outspoken IGL. He was down. He was like, oh man, what is going on right now? We are just not putting together the final pieces to close this game out. And that's when you start to worry a bit. Your IGL needs to be in-game, locked in, checked in. You can't be checking out like that. And you saw for a team like Next Gen, a very young team, of course, coming in from the open qualifier as well, that it started to look very, very worrisome.
Yeah, look, you break the IGL, you kind of break the team. And, in the interview that McKinley he was speaking about how well the team sort of plays around his IGL style. So they put a lot of faith in him, which is, unfortunate if it does get shattered. But we do have Biggie Cheese on the line, one of the brothers himself. My man, first off, congratulations, but mate, what are you doing? That was scary towards the end there. How you feeling?
Yeah, we were getting a bit worried. That was, we were getting close. We still managed to close it out, but a few of us were trolling there. Just not playing well there at the end.
And I have to say, you guys, you very much handily took that first map, looked very, very strong. And then we went over to Fracture, and of course, it got a little bit worrisome. And I wanted to speak a little bit about the composition swap up here. You put McKinley on the Neon, getting Feta in the fray with the Yoru. I want to pick your brain a little bit about that.
It's Stack, our coach. He's got some crazy comps cooking up, and it's pretty much just to catch the enemy, by surprise. So, we're pretty much just doing stuff that's off meta right now, and just trying to change up how people play the game and, catch them by surprise, pretty much. It's helping us out a lot, really, to be honest, because we managed to catch a few of the rotators when they're coming through arcade pretty fast, and they can't really take the rope anyway, so yeah, it was pretty good for us, but we just trolled at the end. That was all it was.
Okay. You made us worried a little bit there. I know you made, the almost 1,000 viewers in the chat a little bit worried as well. But you know what, man? It's been a bit of an interesting week through OCE Valorant. There's been lots of changes. We have 1 week off, and it's like the hurricane hits and the house flies away. You guys were sort of involved in that as well. So I guess this is sort of the two-pronged question. A, with all the changes going on, you guys dropping your org, and as well as probably your best map Bind being removed from the rotation completely. How has all of this sort of affected you guys in the last week?
Well, yeah, obviously, us getting removed from BFG, caught us off guard, huge. But I mean, we're fine with it. We have a few other offers available, and we're just gonna go through there, see how it goes. Obviously, yeah, Bind was our strongest map. It'll be fine. I feel like we're trying to get pretty strong on Lotus here, doing a lot of scrims, a lot of practice. So, we're just gonna try and make that our new Bind, essentially.
Fair enough, man. Well, you definitely dominated. That Sky pick was insane. Definitely a lot of information gathered from that. But Lotus, it's brand new territory, and we look forward to seeing you basically carve out your name in stone on that map. But dude, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the win. Go crack a well-deserved cold one.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers.
Well, TwoTap, how about that? One of the most interesting people on that team, I reckon, old mate Biggie. It's he sort of burst his way onto the scene here in major fashion. Only a couple months ago, made a statement in the rec tournament, and now that he's here, he's definitely becoming one of the staples here of OCE Valorant.
Yeah, I'm definitely loving to see Biggie's transformation as a player, and especially this team as a core three, of course, coming from Biggie, Feta, and McKinley. Now, still struggling like all OC teams do, putting together the pieces, and some of them don't quite fit. Some of them, they've got a corner where a corner really shouldn't be, but of course, they're still doing it. They're still fighting putting in the good yards, and it seems to be paying off. And well, Kit, we want to take a look at how that shapes up our standings, because there's been some impressive games so far. Bobo up there, 4-1, 95x now tied for first, and I'd say they're first place because they just took down Bobo.
They did just take down Bobo, completely undefeated. We've got the official confirmation. We've just been put in the place that there is a bit of a round difference there. So yep. Bobo definitely confirmed first place, but 95x extremely hot on their heels. They can hold their heads very high with their performance tonight. But the Honey Badgers and Fun Crew, they're close as well, not far behind at all. And I do believe that both of those teams will be featured tomorrow. Well done to Next Gen, picking up the dub tonight. Cooper Troopers, amazing performance in the second half there of Fracture. We just needed to see a little bit more of that. But like I alluded to, Tony, this is just but the start of Valorant here. We've got the amazing live player update list as well. We've seen Swirl at the top of that throughout the entirety of the tournament so far. And still, after tonight, man, still just continues to improve his stats.
He's dropped a bit though, 6 ACS gone, but well, yeah. it kind of happens,
Headshot up though, headshot up.
Headshot is definitely up there, 31, higher than even Norson, who's at 30 right now. Of course, Lou, Maple, and RDW still up there. Interestingly enough, of course, didn't get to play this evening. We won't get to see him play anymore for the rest of the stage from Bobo, but of course, Swell still king of the ACS, and hopefully maybe looking for a few of those players to shake it up tomorrow.
Absolutely. And speaking of tomorrow, TwoTap, you and I, we get the best seats in the house there in the Twitch chat alongside all the lucky viewers as we get to sit back and watch two amazing games with some amazing casters. We're going to be having Mac and Conky on tomorrow, and they're going to be bringing you Fun Crew going up against Mammoth, and also Honey Badgers versus the Who +2. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you are right here on the LPL Valorant Twitch channel to watch that, because I'll tell you what, if it's anything like tonight, you don't want to miss it.
Absolutely, you don't want to miss it. Those are some stacked games, and can't wait to see it. But it's how it is, B, and it should be a good one. Kit, take us away.
My man, thank you so much for riding shotgun alongside me tonight, Tony. It is always an absolute pleasure. Big ups to everybody who watched in the Twitch chat as well. I hope you had at least half as much fun as we had casting it. I've never been so invested in a game in my life. Also, big shout outs to the producers, everybody behind the scenes here at LPL, pulling the strings. But guys, like we mentioned, make sure that you are here same time tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Australian time, or 8:30 if you are Oh, sorry, apologies. 3:30 Australian time. It is, of course, Saturday tomorrow, which means 5:30 New Zealand time. Ooh, almost got that one away from us there. But thank you so much for joining us. We will see you then. Catch you later. We've got big games tomorrow. Peace.